Lou Malnatius is the caterer and special sponsor for this episode of Tru Heel Heat. This is delicious.
You want knife before. That's why.
And you got it on my white sneakers, you got pizza. It's even good off my sneakers. It must be a Chicago thing. We're eating deep dish. We must be in Chicago. So welcome everyone. The Pro Wrestling Spotlight presents Tru Heel Heat 46. Yes, we are live coming from Chicago, Illinois for All Out weekend. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3, and I am back with the returning Chicago's own, our Chicago tour guide, the Tru Heel's Chicago pioneer. He is the one, the only. From day one of Tru Heel Heat, from the first episode, this man has been providing stats for us in our comments section. He's probably going to have to share our video on the Tru Heel's page because he's an admin there. It's your job to do that. So, yeah, you're an admin? He's an admin on the Tru Heel's group page as well. We're doing big things. It is the returning StatKing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The StatKing, how does it feel? We're back in your hometown.
Hometown. I don't know about that.
Well, your new hometown. Your transplant town.
Glad to be back. As always, glad to be on the show. Glad to be able to talk to you guys, and not just in the comment section, to be able to talk to you guys live, and now be the person answering some of the comments in the comment section.
Yes, he's going to be reading a bunch of comments during the live feed. He's got to go to the Spotlight Nation to share that video with you Tru Heels. So he's gonna be occupied for a moment. So while he's doing that, let me introduce the gentleman to my right. First time ever on Tru Heel Heat. You guys might have saw him on a prior episode of the Jobber Tears podcast, but he's a man of many, many names, many aliases. For Tru Heel, for our pot heel friend Ness, he calls him the Tru Heel Sexist. I before called him Tru Heel Quan. True. But for today, he is now dubbed because he has the same initials of another co-host of mine. He is now filling in some very, very big shoes. He is not the top guy. No. He is the weed guy, the henny guy, the sexist guy, the yak guy, JJ. It is Tru Heel Quan. Welcome to Tru Heel Heat.
I'm happy to be here, man. This is a big weekend for fans who like everything else but WWE. No shots.
No shade.
And I'm honored, man. It's a great weekend so far. You know, happy to be here with the good brother Sid. Well, SP3, StatKing. You know, on his phone chilling like a villain and all that good stuff. But yeah. It's gonna be a good episode.
You're ready for some Tru Heel Heat? I see you guys already in the comment section. They're putting their comments. They're probably roasting you in the comment section. So
they sucking dick already. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right.
It only took us less than 5 minutes to already have a foul word.
And those who know will be interested that I was able to keep the Sasha Banks cup away from Jay.
He should be honored.
Yo, shout out to my nigga Chris, a man of many Chalkline jackets. You know, Chalkline, I appreciate y'all, but you know, this is a different kind of company this weekend. But please don't let me go.
You have to turn that down.
One botch already. It is fun. But
oh my God! So Chris Gutierrez says we miss Chrissy already. So yes. Shouts out to my other co-host, Miss Chrissy Love, as well as top guy JJ, and of course our very special producer, Baby Seth. A very special shout out to our producer for our last episode, Tru Heel Heat 45, Romeo Anthony Colon, or as we dubbed him, the WWE Mark RAC. And yes, so you're aware, Romeo, if you're watching us live, StatKing will not be reading your comments in the comment section since you didn't read his. It's over for that. But yes, we're going to start off the show how we start off every show. You know, we're going to have to preview AEW All Out. We are in Chicago for All Out tomorrow night. But as well, tomorrow we got NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest in London. So a bunch of shows that we got to preview. But we got to get into our Tru Heel roll call before we do all of that. You have a word before we do that?
Before we do that, guys, we want to just make sure that you guys can actually see all the hardware Yes. That we had with us. He's got pounds of gold. He's got real pounds of gold. Not the 1 pound of gold, but Johnny 2 belts over here.
Johnny 2 belts over there.
Just so you can see all the hardware that we have with us today. He's a man of many belts. He's the toy belt collector, as I dubbed him. So we're gonna get to your comments in the comment section right after we go through our Tru Heel roll call. This is where we shout out everyone that is supporting our Tru Heel's group page, the Pro Wrestling Spotlight, as well as the Tru Heel Heat page podcast. We just exceeded over 4,000 likes on our Tru Heel Heat podcast page, so thank you everyone who's supporting that page. But first, we gotta get into the Tru Heel Trinity. The top 3 conversation starters on the Tru Heel's group page. Already my mic is falling off, so like I said, this show's going off the rails already. So, we got at number 3, once again, behind 3 counts own NK, Nictarius. Nictarius, I'm not going to even try to pronounce your last name. At number 2, the true face himself. StatKing has the honor of inviting this gentleman to the Tru Heel's page, and ever since then, the true face, the Simon Miller of the Tru Heel's group page. He has been bringing positivity. He's been giving us a thorough recap of what's going on Raw and SmackDown. Coming in at number 2 is Steve Salvage, and back at number 1 once again. It is becoming the most ongoing storyline for Tru Heel Heat. Coming in at number 1 again is the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson.
Nick Jackson.
Your nigga Nick Jackson.
Big nigga Buck. Pause.
Yes.
Big nigga Buck. Pause.
However he wants to say it. A couple of Tru Heels that we got to shout out: Robert Taylor, as well as Broderick Dwayne, Brandon Kahn, Dominic Mendoza, John Blaine, and Ivan Rosa. Ivan Rosa, one of my very good neighbors, one of my very good friends. Shouts out to Ivan. And a quick plug for a couple of things that we got going on. SP3's top 10 G1 Climax 29 matches is on its way to our YouTube channel. I know I've been previewing this for the past couple of Tru Heel Heats, but I probably will. I will be doing that video probably here in Chicago. A plug for our New York City independent promotion partner, Battle Club Pro. Battle Club Pro, anything you can do. It is an all-intergender show on September 28th. A big shout out to Joe Kim Morales, the big boss man of BCP. He will be, and this is breaking news, he will be a very special guest host on Tru Heel Heat 47. Next week, we're going to be back at Tru Heel's headquarters, Tru Heel Studios, and Joe Kim Morales will join us live. We're going to have Miss Christy Love back. We're going to have Top Guy JJ back. But Joe Kim Morales will join us live on Tru Heel Heat 47. But anything you can do on September 28th, you guys that already got tickets for New Japan Pro Wrestling, there's more wrestling to see on that day. Why not spend the whole day celebrating this sport, this business that we all know and love? Come out to BCP, then we can all make a group trip over to Hammerstein Ballroom for the New Japan show. So let's make a day of professional wrestling on September 28th. Anything you can do. Battle Club Pro, LAX versus the Sea Stars, which just signed this week. Already signed Anthony Bowen versus Tessa Blanchard, as well as Jordan Grace versus Darius Carter, who had a lot of foul words to say about me, so I'm rooting for Jordan Grace.
So LAX gonna be there?
LAX, their last independent show. Independent show.
I'm at the pull up to New York.
September 28th, sir. You got a month.
I'm all in. Make the move. I'm all in. No pun intended.
So, guys, StatKing, Weed Guy JJ, let's hear from the comment section. Let's hear what the people got to say to us. I see they're commenting a lot, and people are joining in the conversation. We're already at double digits. Let's hear what they got to say.
So we've got James Booth, one of our top fans. He's saying thanks for the updates. He keeps them posted during the night shift.
Hey, I am a person that works an overnight shift at a hotel, so I appreciate you, James. That's why he's Weed Guy JJ.
And our own Chris Gutierrez says, fun drinking game. Take a shot every time Quan says, shut up, Izzy.
Izzy, if you're in the comment section, please comment now.
Honestly, it might be hard for you not to say something stupid. But if you don't say anything stupid during this whole episode, I won't say anything. I promise. You have my word. I'll shake my own thing. You got it.
I really don't believe you guys. I really don't believe you.
That's understandable, but you got my word, alright? If I'm wrong, I get your Osprey shirt. Sometimes I favorite.
I think his words stopped being a bond after like the third shot of Henny that he had before the show went on.
This is like the 6th now, but it's fun. It's gonna be a good show, but yeah.
Please put in the comment section what you predict his final number of shots of Henny will be. We have 2 bottles of Henny. Yes, Henny. Hennessy.
I'm going to finish this one. It's over. This is going to be done. If
you want to be our sponsors, Henny, you know you've been making black babies since 1983. You can become a sponsor for Tru Heel Heat. We've tried with Syrah. Henny, we're looking for you now.
If you can fuck with the Goat Nines, you can fuck with me. You fuck with Tru Heel.
It's like Marty looking for that 4th member of Golden Enterprises. We're looking to see whether Henny is going to step up and do what Syrah refused to do, and that is support the show.
And be our flip Gordon.
Be our flip Gordon, just without the injuries.
Very true. Very true.
Get well soon.
But then again, because I'm a flip Gordon, I fuck my knee up drinking. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. That's a different time, different topic. Say it, brother. Go ahead.
We'll get into that in a bit, but. So let's get into our top news. We got to start off. Of course, it is All Out weekend, but of course, the #1 promotion in professional wrestling is still the conglomerate, the empire that is known as WWE.
Okay.
So we got to get into some WWE news. So we're going to run off the top news. We're going to get through it very quickly. We're going to hear what we got, JJ, as well as the StatKing got to say. We're going to hear what you guys got to say in the comment section. But the top news we're going to run through pretty quick. There's no major news stories throughout the week. But WWE news, we got NXT on USA will be filmed live at Full Sail University at least until the end of December. That is for right now. That is for Tru Heel Heat 46. By Tru Heel Heat 50, if AEW beats them on that first week, I'm pretty sure those shows are going to get canceled. But, that's besides the story. But the tickets have gone on sale. They put out a listing for when tickets are going to go on sale. So if you're in Florida, go check out NXT Live on USA Network at Full Sail University. A partnership between Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura has been forming over the last couple of weeks on SmackDown, and now it's rumored that it's going to be leading to basically resemble the Kevin Owens-Chris Jericho feud. Basically, they're going to form their partnership and eventually split up, causing a big match at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at WrestleMania 36. We got footage on SmackDown proves that there was not 2 Vintners, that the original Vintner, Eric Rowan, is the person responsible for attacking and trying to kill and murder Roman Reigns. Oh my God! And Daniel Bryan just slapped the shit out of his Vintner.
Yo, he was slapping him like a hole in a street corner. Yo, that shit was so funny.
That was foul. You liar! You liar! I hate liars!
That's what's crazy about it. This guy, Roman, somehow managed to pull the wool over the eyes of the Planet's champion.
How could he?
Incredible to believe.
I mean, I don't know who to be more impressed with. The second Vintner who sat in a room with a bareback sack on his head,
straight face,
for 2 hours.
Well, we couldn't see it with a straight face.
Well, when he pulled it over, I'm no way in hell.
He was crying. He was crying
with his spray painted beard.
Yeah.
But the original Vintner is the man that was responsible for the original forklift attack on our lovely Roman Reigns. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler became the #1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles on Monday Night Raw, winning Tag Team Turmoil. I've heard people call them Rudolph. I've heard people call them Spirit Money. I've heard people call them Glorious Perfection. So you put in the comment section what Roode and Ziggler's names should be. We had Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, and Ali all advanced in the King of the Ring tournament. Major news. These are 3 notes that are major news to me because I basically send these guys what I just talked about, and then I added a few other news that came through during the week. So, first of all, Golden One Center, which is going to be the home of WWE Hell in a Cell, put out advertisement this week that the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, will get a shot at the WWE Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell against either Seth Rollins or Baron Corbin, who are going to be Oh, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, they're both trash. Who cares? But yeah, I'm sorry.
CrossFit Jesus is my homeboy.
No, I said Baron Corbin or Braun Strowman.
Baron is definitely not.
They're both trash to me. I don't care. But either against Braun Strowman or Seth Rollins.
We could have seen Baron Corbin moonlighting as the manager of the Hyatt Regency at Starcast.
Yeah, something like that.
There's someone out there who looks like that's.
We wish Baron Corbin well in his future endeavors.
Precisely.
He's got a nice job at the Hyatt. I mean, to be fair. And then my Uncle Dave Meltzer, he actually confirmed that this is not an advertisement that's going to be subject to change. That the plans right now is for the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, to get the shot at the Universal Championship. What is your thoughts on that? We got JJ. You were playing the Bray Wyatt Fiend theme right before we went live. So, what is your
No, it's serious. But it's too soon. So honestly, if they don't put the belt on Bray at Hell in a Cell, it'll be pointless. There's no reason how you got this guy pretty much dominating. Like, every week, he's a mysterious character. You do not kill that mystique by having him lose this quick. That's why I don't understand why they're even promoting it. I understand why, because he's the hottest thing right now. So you need that kind of grind, especially going into the fall with the AEW going on. But I don't know. Because if Braun's not beating Seth at Clash Chamber, not happening.
I don't think so.
So you have Seth go in pretty much. He just won the belt back, and he goes through Braun or whatever's going to happen at Clash of Champions. I think you have him lose it October, literally the next month. So you mean something he fought back to get to Brock and then lose again?
Let's be honest here. Basically, what happened was somebody said, "Oh, what are we going to do for October?" And Vince said, "Well, it's Halloween."
Yeah.
It's Halloween.
God damn it!
We're gonna sell these. We need to sell these Fiend masks.
We need to sell these masks.
Exactly. So we're gonna put Bray into this Hell in a Cell match.
But exactly, you say that. But even if Bray wins, I'm all for Bray winning. He deserves that. He's been deserved that. Even when the great Orton took the title from him, he should have had a longer reign. So now that they go into this Fiend character, which is one of pretty much the hottest thing in WWE right now.
Yeah.
What does he do? Who takes it from him? Who do they build to him facing Bray? It's like it's kind of like it's too soon.
If he holds it till if he wins it in October and holds it until Mania, that's a solid.
Exactly, but his character is a Mystique type character.
No.
So how do you build that? How do you even give him challengers for the upcoming pay-per-view, even leading to Mania? You know?
Well, they could even have a situation where somebody wins a number one contendership match, and we don't even know whether or not Bray is going to show up. They try to do a contract signing, nobody shows up, and then at the pay-per-view, we still don't know whether Bray's going to show up, and then all of a sudden he shows up, knocks that person out, mandible claw, and
it's too much credit already. But
of course, definitely, of course. But meaning to say that there are possibilities. There are ways that they could make it work.
There's no way they keep that Fiend character hot from October until Mania is in April. Yeah. There's no way in hell if Bray's champion they keep that Fiend character hot from October to April. There's no way in hell. There's no way.
In an ideal world, I would love for the Fiend to win the Royal Rumble and then get Mania.
But this is their panic. I feel like this is a panic move. Oh shit! What are we gonna do? Bray's hot. Just give him the belt, or the case like that. Because if Bray loses at Hell in a Cell, it's over.
Pretty much. But this has been the problems ever since Seth won the title back from Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
This is the whole reason that we have Seth versus Braun Strowman at Clash of
Champions. September, yes.
Because they're basically like, we have no one else who's built up enough to get a shot at the Universal Champion.
Braun's not built. I mean, granted, they give him a title shot, but it's been the last 2 years he's been champion. I mean, going against champion and losing. So clearly, I have no hope for him winning that Clash Champion. Even though, I have no hope because it's Braun Strowman. I don't give a fuck about Braun Strowman, to be honest.
Braun Strowman to me is what Hiroki Goto is to New Japan. He just gets title shots, he loses,
and we know he's gonna lose.
And we know he's gonna lose.
It could be a good match, maybe, but we know there's no hope of him winning, and that's why I don't understand. I can go on and on about the whole tag team titles with them winning. It's a rehash thing they've been doing for years. make them put a tag team together, make them win, try to build their feud, have them lose the tag titles, then they go on to face each other, and then a champion probably retains like every time.
But this is the first time ever tag team champions will defend the titles, then verse each other in the same night.
Because I had no high hopes for Seth and Braun's match.
All titles must be
All titles.
all titles.
If they would have gave Braun this time, that would have been even worse. Thank God they saved my good brother AJ. But yeah, I don't give a fuck about Seth and Braun's match. Sorry.
Please
I'm sorry. I'm lying.
Please put in the comment section if you think The Fiend will win at Hell in a Cell. What your thoughts are on The Fiend getting a shot at the Universal Championship. Me, myself, I think the long game is for The Fiend to win at Hell in a Cell. And then the long game is for Finn Balor to win the Royal Rumble. And then we have Demon versus Fiend.
It could be all so fucking simple. That is the most... That is so simple, and it won't happen.
It won't happen.
And that is a sad thing.
It won't happen.
It's not even a thought. Fucking Finn comes back at Rumble, probably gets eliminated in 5 minutes. This is what happens. And fucking Bray Wyatt loses the title at Rumble. God forbid.
Demon versus Fiend for the Universal title would make Tru Heel Kelvin very happy. That would be his perfect match. But we do have some comments.
Brother Kelvin.
We do have some comments.
Let's hear it from him.
For starters, Chris Gutierrez, his guess for the number of shots that Jake Long will have by the end of the broadcast is 14.
14!
For Randy
I'm
Orton.
already at 7.
For Randy Orton.
Yeah. But anyway, we're not going to talk about the great Randy right now. Because there are some other things at hand. We say the best for last. But anyway, continue.
Nick Jackson said that Daniel Bryan channeled his inner human tornado with that bitch slap.
He did. He did. That was a human tornado level of a bitch slap.
We have name suggestions. Chris, I'm not going to say that one. That's just, no. Matthew Miller says the Glorious Jobbers.
That seems appropriate.
Sounds good.
Here's your first chance, Jake Long. Izzy Campbell says Glorious Perfection. Sounds better.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Block him off of that, actually. Get him out of here.
We don't have boot power here.
We don't have
You
blue
guys
power.
are fucking madness. What are you talking about?
I mean, for Spotlight,
Get him the fuck out. Hit up JJL. Tell that nigga to get
He's in
all
Chicago.
Chicago.
He's enjoying Chicago right now.
I don't give a fuck what he's enjoying. Tell him to get Izzy the fuck out of here. That dumbass name. Glorious. Get that man.
True Face Steve
That bullshit out of here.
says that Dolph and Rude need to add EC3 and call themselves Easy Money.
That's actually pretty good.
How about underutilized talent? There we go. That's something better.
Superstar's finest.
Yeah. Main event
finest.
matches.
Main event's finest. Anything else?
And we do have a question regarding All Out, but we will address that.
We'll address that shortly. We're going to get into AEW news. We're going to get into actually AEW news up next, so we'll read that in a bit. But there's two other notes for the WWE news. We had a conflicting report happened just a couple of days ago. Enzo and Cass, reportedly from Uncle Dave Meltzer, my Uncle Dave Meltzer, Enzo and Cass are basically in talks with WWE to return to NXT on USA. I mean, if you remember Big Cass and Enzo in NXT, that was the peak of Big Cass and Enzo. Uncle Dave reported this through the Wrestling Observer, and then PW Sheet's own Ryan Satin reported that WWE denied this report. I will say with PW Sheet, they have a great page. They have a great news, but they are known for WWE giving them information or giving them news that changes the narrative to professional wrestling fans. So I think that WWE knew that the Enzo and Cass being in talks with WWE would have a negative reaction, so they reached out to PW Sheet to get that denial out there. But I do believe that there is
fucking Enzo and Cass. Why the fuck are they trying to hide? Who the fuck gives a flying fuck about Enzo and Cass?
If I had a dime
For any person that give a fuck about Enzo and Cass, okay, finish your brother.
I have $0.
And I have no change in my pocket. If I give a fuck about Enzo and Cass, don't try to keep it under wraps. Nobody cares. Enzo's trash. Cass is trash. Enzo's trash. And then Cass is trash. Enzo comes back. Granted, he can cut a good promo.
That
But that's it. That is literally it. He is garbage truck juice in the fucking ring. I don't want to see him. I don't care. I don't care about his indie bookings, his stupid ass raps. I don't want to see him. I don't.
And for those who think maybe
Fuck
Enzo,
that, man.
Enzo isn't improving. If you were in Poughkeepsie for NEW
Yeah,
and you
hold
saw that Headlock City match between him and Brian Pillman Jr., who is always an entertaining performer, but that was the worst match on the card, and it was the worst match on the card that had Big Cass versus some local
trust fund guy.
Yeah, trust
Shout out to my homeboy because that's my homeboy. He manages trust fund. My man Jared. So
he's cool. I like him. I was telling his bodyguard that he needed to protect him though. Like
cool.
Big Cass was putting his hands on him, and I was like, yo, your bodyguard needs to step up. Like, come on. And then the last bit of WWE news: Total Divas will return this fall. Sonya Deville, Carmella will join the cast. But the biggest news of them all, Wednesdays will now be the day for primetime must-see television because joining the cast of Total Divas
It's Sasha Banks.
No.
Okay.
Is
Wait. They were going to get Sasha Banks, but then she quit on them about halfway through the contract signing and then took her ball and went home.
Also true.
But she's beating Becky.
We'll talk
Get over it. But it's fine. Let him finish. Let's go.
Our Lord and Savior, UFC Hall of Famer, the baddest woman on the planet. 9 fingers, a perfect 10 still. Ronda Rousey will be joining the cast of Total Divas. So I am making this prediction right now, ladies and gentlemen. StatKing, we got JJ.
You know I keep track of stats.
Total Divas will outdraw AEW on TNT as well as NXT on USA on October 2nd.
You think so?
I'm calling it.
You know why I say that though?
I'm calling it.
I don't even understand why they put it on Wednesday because some people usually on Sundays because I watch it. So I know, don't be surprised. But I know. But I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to kill all the momentum AEW has. Ronda Rousey is a star. We all know that. It's not even a second thought. If you're delusional or upset because Ronda Rousey, who she is in WWE, shut the fuck up. It's Ronda Rousey. It's the end of the day. But I don't know. It's a weird time. I mean, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. That's stupid. Honestly, they should have just kept it on Sunday. But I feel like WWE's doing too much, trying to diverge people from watching AEW, which is obviously his job is competition. But I don't know. I mean, if Ronda brings ratings to Total Divas, more power to her. It's Ronda Rousey. I wouldn't be surprised because nobody really knows that much into her personal life. So you know how Total Divas try to dig deep into the divas. I don't call them divas. I'm sorry. Women superstars. Bunch of bullshit. Women superstars. They try to dig into their personal lives, but I don't know. If she can pull off a good rating, more power to her. I like Ronda Rousey, so don't. Yeah.
Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior. And way to show that you're the Tru Heel sexist. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on our Lord and Savior joining the cast of Total Divas?
Interestingly, I think it's got a nice sense of intrigue about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, a lot of times these shows are filmed with past events. It's not current what's literally happening to these people week to week in September, October, whenever it's actually being aired. So for fans, they can get a glimpse of what's going on in Ronda's life when she left WWE and the things that are happening with her when it comes to, is she coming back? Is she going to be starting a family? All of those things. And that's, to me, is the hook that I don't know if it's going to beat AEW or NXT, but I think that's the hook that they're going to push when it comes to driving ratings for the show. So I think they are smart in getting her onto Total Divas when she's not on weekly or semi-regular WWE television. They're still able to get her on WWE television. She's just not wrestling.
Makes sense. And Brad Shepard was right. He said that she would be returning to the WWE.
Oh, well, Mr. Shepard.
Shepard suck dick.
we would let people like Josh, and we would let people like Tru Heel Josh and Tru Heel Romeo properly address that. But you're a coward, so you block them on Twitter. But that's between you and your conscience.
Be a man, Brad Shepard. Be a man. Let's hear from the comment section.
Bitch, man.
So
That's no story.
we do have one really great comment. Actually, most of the comments. Not most, but some of the comments have been directed towards
The weed guy, JJ.
towards the weed guy. So,
Leave me alone. I need to live my life. Just leave me alone.
our favorite Tru Heel high schooler. I'm honestly, it's good that our show is being broadcast on a Friday night because they're able to stay up. They don't have school the next day.
I was about to say, isn't it past his
And that might
It
give
is
brother.
it's
And that might give brother Austin.
It's a long weekend, Labor Day.
Give brother Austin. Say some dumb shit.
We'll let you stay up late. But Austin Kennerly says, Jaquan, quit lying. You got an Enzo chop line.
Ooh.
Pay for that neck.
First of all,
Pay for that neck.
you can't even fit a choke on with your little ass. Anyway, definitely not having an Enzo choke on, even if they send it to me for free. Shout out to choke on though. Thank you.
And
And shouts out to Nerds Clothing as well. Nerds is making very quality.
I'm gonna move over.
It's okay. It's alright.
But shout, not gonna say it. But shout to them. Yeah, that's what he said.
and here's your next opportunity. When it comes to who is going to be on Total Divas and who you said is going to be on Total Divas, Izzy Campbell says.
Oh God! Don't even read that bullshit. But go ahead.
He says the Sasha mark strikes back.
Ooh.
Sasha Mark strikes back.
He
Strikes
calls
back.
Sasha Mark.
I'm fine being a Sasha Mark. Everybody knows, if you know me, like my good brother here, my good brother here, I love Sasha. So what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
That neck.
Strike back on what? What are you trying to say?
I mean, if he's not really saying anything, there's probably
He never saying anything.
there's something you can tell him to be quiet. And
What's
that
that?
would
Eat a
be-
dick? Shut the fuck up.
There we go.
Bingo! Ding, 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 ding. So we're up to 2. Shut the fuck up.
I'm at 2 there. I'm sure
And
I'm
what shot are you up to?
This is 7.
7. So we're halfway to Chris's prediction. Please put in the comment section for our YouTube channel as well. What do you guys
Chris, if I
think
get to
the
14,
final number will be?
I'm gonna have to see you when I get back to New York. But yeah. They said shots. Okay, cool.
I love it. We gotta get into some AEW news. So let's run down, and then you can ask that question about All Out. So all AEW news. We got tickets for Pittsburgh and Charleston selling slowly. So far, with over 3K sold for Pittsburgh and another 4,000 for Charleston. Basically, what it comes down to is that the ticket scalpers basically capitalized and were basically, because of the turnout, because of how quickly the tickets sold out for this event tomorrow night, AEW All Out here in Chicago, the ticket scalpers did get an increase in the amount of tickets they were able to secure for the debut show of AEW on TNT in Washington, D.C. But because they got so many and then the ticket sales went way down, like you can get secondary market tickets for this debut show in Washington, D.C. for just under $7. Just under $7. Because of that, it led to these last 2 shows, the Pittsburgh show and the Charleston show, not really selling well. Also, AEW news, Austin Khan joins the field for the Casino Battle Royal, which is going on tomorrow night. We also had AEW announce that the winner of Riho versus Haruka Shida. Haruka Shida, I'm going to have 2 more opportunities to say her name right. Will face the winner of the Casino Battle Royal to determine the first ever AEW Women's Championship on that first taping of AEW on TNT in Washington, D.C. Charlotte, North Carolina will be the site for the November 6th AEW on TNT, and tickets go on sale on September 6th. And then just announced yesterday, we were live at the press conference, the weigh-in for AEW All Out, and we dropped that exclusive news on... We all got it.
Go ahead.
Promoting
Go ahead. Shout out to Blue Chip.
Shout out to Blue Chip, another sponsor for Tru Heel Heat 46.
If that king that dick up, you know why that you know what to do. Blue Chip. All day.
There you go. Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks announced that they will be returning to Chicago, Illinois, more specific the Sears Center, the site of All In and the site of tomorrow night's AEW All Out. They will be returning on November 27th, and tickets went on sale at 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern. So November 27th is actually the Wednesday right after WWE Survivor Series. So if you guys were already planning your trip to Chicago and you were coming in on a Saturday morning to go for the TakeOver War Games, you got TakeOver War Games on Saturday. You got WWE Survivor Series on Sunday. WWE Monday Night Raw on Monday. Tuesday, you can have a day to explore Chicago. Maybe get some, what's the name again?
Lou Malnati's.
Lou Malnati's Deep Dish Pizza. No,
Or
we're promoting our caterer sponsor. You know, don't mention anyone.
Scratch that then.
any heels that are going to be in Chicago during that time, hit me up. I'll give you a list of spots that you can go to.
What's the name of the wing spot we went to last night?
Jake Melnick's.
Mad good.
Jake Melnick's.
Some of the best wings I tasted.
And I go to Hooters frequently. Those wings are amazing, yo.
Well, if you're
Shout
going
out
to
to
Hooters, it's not that hard to do better.
I mean, the Hooters got some good ass wings though.
That's not it.
I mean, that's not, but the wings are good at Hooters though. Shout out to the fuck Hooters. I'm not talking about to give them a shout out. Anyway,
moving on. But shout out to both of those spots because you can spend Tuesday eating at different spots. Our own producer, Baby Seth, he's going to Sean's Crab House tonight with his lovely girlfriend, so you can check out that on Tuesday. And then Wednesday night is AEW on TNT, live from the Sears Center here in Chicago. So that is the same week as WWE Survivor Series, so you can make it a whole week of it. Have a good time. And then I think in October we got Battle for Glory. So Chicago is getting it popping. You got so much wrestling.
I'm not going that bullshit, man.
This guy over here.
It's the truth though. PWT is giving away tickets if you buy a T-shirt. Nobody's going to Battle for Glory.
It's actually the other way around.
If you buy a T-shirt, you get the general admission ticket. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They have to give away tickets. Nobody gives a fuck about the Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, but you didn't say that to Killer Cross and Scarlett when we were there.
I didn't talk to them. Scarlett
I will say this. Some time ago, Sid and I had a lively discussion, we'll call it, in a chat about whether or not Chicago is being potentially unfairly treated at getting all these different shows. And I wanted to do this on air, but you were right. Chicago is getting a lot of shows. It could potentially hurt a lot of people's wallets, but make your choices, do what you got to do. Impact's probably gonna have a really great show. I don't know if everything that they're thinking will work with the fans, but they are gonna do their best, as will every other promotion. AEW's coming out. That's gonna be a crazy week. So again, any of you guys need suggestions, hit me up. More than happy to help you guys if you guys are in town.
Spend your Tuesday eating at spots that the StatKing suggests. So hit them up in the comments section, as well on our YouTube channel, as well as here on the Spotlight Nation. So we gotta get into some ROH news. I know.
We're gonna take that then.
I know. Don't worry, I'm gonna get through it quick.
Shout out to Roosh.
Wait, so none of us are happy that Matt Taven really is finally the true world champion.
Well, that's our big one. That's our big one we're going to get into. So first of all,
the stupidest for last.
We have Jeff Cobb. He earned a future ROH title shot after defeating Jay Lethal, Kenny King, and Matt Taven in a Defy or Die match at Honor for All this past weekend. We had Cobb and Rush. They were the sole survivors in the Champions versus All Stars elimination match. That was also this past weekend. A number one contenders tournament to determine who will verse Matt Taven or who will verse the ROH World Champion. We'll get into that shortly. Who will verse the ROH World Champion at ROH Final Battle in December. That starts Death Before Dishonor weekend. And yes, the big news coming out from ROH this week. It came out just yesterday. PW Insider reports that Matt Taven, the ROH World Champion, Matt Taven's ROH contract expires next month. ROH World Champion Matt Taven's contract expires, and this leads us to one question. Why the fuck did Marty Scurll not win the ROH World title?
Ladies and gentlemen.
As Assholes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that,
Assholes.
for the record, that this topic was discussed in the group chat a little while ago. And I said Marty should have won. And you were the one who brought up that Marty's contract is going to be coming up.
I said
He
Marty
didn't know
should
he's going to be
won.
going.
So I had to go since last year. But go ahead.
I will defend, in a sense, I will defend ROH's decision.
Stupid motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Simply because they knew to use a common promo parlance.
There's
Beyond
not
the shadow of a doubt. Beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Fucking Matt Taven want to be champion.
They knew, ROH knew that Marty was not going to resign. But they had a better chance of re-signing Matt Taven. So putting the belt on Marty, putting the belt on, we didn't know what was going to happen. And you know what? That's kind of symbolic of what's been happening with ROH recently.
Exactly.
That's symbolic.
Downfall.
Anyway, they've been doing it. They've been doing it the tightest world slide. And the situation there is that they thought it was a better shot of re-signing Matt Taven, particularly if they gave him the belt. Marty Scurll, not going to re-sign. Marty Scurll, his friends are dead, but he's going to resurrect them when he finally joins AEW, when his contract's up. So I can kind of understand why they did put the belt on Taven, but overall their booking has just been so spotty and just off that they have not been able to capitalize on what they did have. And so that's why they're in the situation that they're in now.
Yes, they're on a downfall. Like half of our signing. Like, I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense of why you.
Anyway,
why you would put the title? You wouldn't put the title on one guy because his contract is expiring, but you put it on the title of a guy whose contract expired before that guy. But I do understand where the StatKing is coming from. That's why he's not only our stat expert, he's our law expert. He kind of gets the contracts and everything like that. It is more likely that ROH is going to re-sign Matt Taven. If you were at the NEW show, you heard Matt Taven thank Ring of Honor. He has a great relationship with Ring of Honor, so it is more likely that he's going to re-sign and that Marty Scurll will not. Marty Scurll is actually here in Chicago.
He is.
He's here in Chicago. He just had a meet and greet with Flip Gordon at PWT's that we were just at.
We saw Jake One and I saw his mercenary Flip Gordon yesterday at PWT.
Pull up in the big body.
Yeah, and guess who else was there at the same time? Matt Jackson. You don't think there's conversation going on between these parties? You don't think maybe there's a contract being offered to Villain Enterprises, some kind of deal to bring them over? We don't know.
I think it's a strong possibility for sure, but it causes a lot of different questions, and it causes me to say that ROH is telling Impact Wrestling, hold my beer when it comes to mismanaged promotions. ROH is beyond mismanaged, and 2019 might be the worst year in ROH history. Top Guy JJ, we're going to expect your comments on the next Tru Heel Heat. Let's hear it from the comments section.
So this, honestly, I just want to read this because it's hilarious. Austin says that Chris Gutierrez is mad because he looks like Klay Thompson left in the microwave.
Wow,
Klay Thompson.
He's an overheated Klay Thompson. That is how
But going to our topic at hand, Chris Gutierrez says Jeff Cobb should be the next world champion.
Okay.
And we have Matthew Miller saying that Marty should have been champion a long time ago.
Yeah.
Matt's only saying that because he has Marty on his fantasy wrestling team.
Well,
you're not slick.
He sucks at.
You're not slick.
Last place, number 8. You're fucking barely making it to the playoffs if it was the NBA. Because you wouldn't make it to the playoffs. Anyway.
True Heel High Schooler.
Wow.
True Heel High Schooler says, and I mean, when I read this, you're going to understand why he's a True Heel High Schooler, because of the reference. But he says Jake One looks like if you cut him open, chocolate milk would come out.
That is a plot. You know what? You know, I hate chocolate milk. So who said that? I mean, you said high schooler. So
you know who it is.
Clearly, a child said it. Who can
That's
we
what I said
right now?
We know. But
First of all, Austin, let's make something
so now
clear.
Matthew.
You're in a shitty state in Ohio, for one. 2, you're like fucking 12 years old.
Give him a break.
3, you probably got your best friend shooting up heroin as we speak right now. 4, you know what, I'm done. All right,
so
that's my man. Shout out to Austin, though.
So then Matthew Miller Matthew Miller adds on saying that we should not let Jaquan have any more alcohol because he's gonna fuck his good leg up.
My leg's fucked up at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, by the way, Jaquan has a bad back from the flight over to here to Chicago.
I don't know what happened, but my shit is killing me.
But then, interestingly enough, you'd think he would have tried to pile on, but Izzy Campbell says, "Nah, give him some more."
Oh, give him some more. See, Izzy,
you know nothing about getting any more of anything. You fucking loser. So please stop commenting about me. Comment about the show, and I will expose your ass. And if I expose your ass, your radio-looking stupid fucking self would not be on these comments. So shut the fuck up. Talk about the wrestling and stop talking about me.
Please put in the comment section if you want us to do another matchup here on Tru Heel Heat, and this time with
It's crazy.
We got JJ versus Izzy.
And I'll be shot to shot, Izzy. Fuck that Nick, man.
I mean, you're Falcon slap, but
Daniel Bryan.
Hear that?
Daniel Bryan slap.
I'm Daniel Bryan. Your ass will be ruined. Stop talking.
He's the big man.
I'll be perfectly fair. Austin got me because it says StatKing looks like he was able to convince H&R Block to let him claim his dog on his taxes. I wish I had a dog that I could claim on my taxes.
Shout out to
Thank you,
rest
Austin.
in peace. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, rest in peace to their dog. Josie just passed away. So shout out to them. Rest in peace to them.
Some more breaking news. I didn't know that.
Rest in peace to Josie. The dog just passed away like 2 days ago.
That's sad.
Out of nowhere. They didn't even say it. They reposted it like out of nowhere.
I mean, that means that they lost a castmate from Total Divas and Total Bellas, and that's why they get Ronda.
There you go. Ronda replacing a dog.
Well, no, you can't say that. That sounds bad. She's replacing a dog.
That was the joke. And then
God,
I mean,
one bitch, another bitch. Like,
whoa.
You can't say that.
Whoa. Do not talk about our Lord and Savior
Exactly.
in the same breath.
A female dog is a bitch. So you're pretty much saying, well, she calls herself a bitch. So
The baddest bitch on the planet.
Exactly.
On the planet.
So from one bitch to the baddest bitch, hey, that's a good trade.
That is actually pretty
It's a
good.
great trade, actually.
So we gotta get into some MLW news. Austin Aries will be versing Brian Pillman Jr. That's just been added to the MLW War Chamber card in Dallas, Texas on September 7th. So that's gonna be next week. As they continue to tease Aries versus Teddy Hart for the MLW middleweight championship. So I'm looking forward to Aries versus Teddy Hart. They seem to be teasing that for the big pay-per-view in November for MLW, Major League Pro Wrestling. Major League Wrestling also announces their partnership with The Crash in Mexico. And after their recent partnership news with Pro Wrestling Noah, we see that MLW is making moves to get more partnership, to get out into different countries. They're doing their thing here in the U.S., but they're trying to get into Mexico as well as Japan. So shout out to MLW. We got to get into some New Japan Pro Wrestling news. Just added to the card for the Destruction Tour. It's going to be Tetsuya Naito. Will defend the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Switchblade Jay White at Destruction in Kobe, which is the big show to end the Destruction Tour on September 22nd. I'm predicting that, yes, Switchblade Jay White will win the IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
That's the finale.
This is after Switchblade defeated Naito in the B Block Finals to get to the finals of the G1 Climax. So I think that Jay White is going to get another victory against Naito. The Young Lions Cup will return 2 years off since the last time, 2017. We had Kinemura win the Young Lions Cup, and now it returns. And it will be featuring Young Lions from the New Japan Dojo, as well as the LA Dojo, which is trained by Shibata. And the Battle of LA New Zealand Dojo has one representative from there as well. And then the big news, two big news from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shibata. Shibata, after that great angle for the heel turn.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
For the heel turn for Kenta at the G1 Climax 29 Finals, Shibata is actually working his way to returning and getting his in-ring.
Let's fucking go!
My fantasy wrestling fans, I would try to pick him up. And then finally, New Japan World Wrestling also announced during the Super J Cup tour that they will be returning to California, the West Coast, San Jose, California, in November for Showdown in San Jose. So we got Fighting Spirit Unleashed is going to be at Lowell, Massachusetts, as well as Philadelphia and New York City here at the Hammerstein Ball. Well, not here, but out in New York City at the Hammerstein Ballroom. And then in November, they will return to the United States in San Jose, California for Showdown in San Jose. Anything from the comment section or the Tru Heels before we get into what we missed?
So, comments. And comments with common sense. There we go. Comments with common sense.
So I guess he doesn't want you to read Izzy's comments, basically.
Exactly. Comments with common sense. Starting.
I would say that one of Izzy's comments, one of two, is actually good.
There we
He
go.
says
Oh, okay. Shout out to Izzy.
good for MLW. Good.
Anyway, go ahead.
Izzy, the good comment is that it's good for MLW for expansion.
I didn't watch it.
And it's always great. It's always great to see companies try to push their borders, try to push what they can do, try to reach out to more fans, acquire more fans, and while also ensuring that they keep the fans they do have by continuing the level of quality that they've had throughout. And MLW seems to be doing that. They seem to be targeting specific areas. They know what they're trying to do. They have to try to, all of the indies or third-tier promotions, that whatever you want to call them, they all know that AEW is going to be kind of this big guy coming onto the block, and so they know what they have to do to try to survive or at least, thrive. And so they're doing what they have to do. They're doing what they can do. And MLW is doing that expansion, so that's great. The other thing that Izzy said that might be suspect.
Of course, it was a comment from Izzy.
What did I say about Shibata coming back?
What did you say?
I don't think you really said
I don't remember you saying anything.
But
we booed you so much, I don't know what you said.
I think it wasn't even the one that was like, "Oh, Shibata's not coming back" or something like that.
It sounded like an Izzy comment.
But it looks like he's working his way to come.
I had a little bit of hope for it from not for Izzy. I don't give a fuck about Izzy. I had a little bit of hope for Shibata coming back, but it's like, oh my god, you can't point at that.
From my new podcast, this is breaking news as well. I'm gonna have a new basketball podcast that's starting up. You guys might have seen the Facebook page. It's the 4 Quarters.
That's Matt? You talking about Matt?
Yes, Matt Miller. Wait, let me say it before you respond. Matt Miller says that Jaquan looks like Bill Duke from Menace to Society when he drinks.
Well, the irony of that, Matt, you're fucked up, right? You know, you little Chris looking ass nigga, you're fucked up, right? First off, he didn't drink in fucking Menace Society. He was at the table, an interrogation scene. He didn't drink, so you already fucked up your stupid ass comment. So how about you go back in the studio trying to make some good music, which is hard, I understand that, and go back to making wrestling comments. It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy, man. I'm telling you. And you live in Philly now, man. Come on.
No, he's back out here.
Wait, you back out where?
Well, not here, but New York.
Nigga, what are you, like a Rolling Stone? And you go from Atlanta to Philly, now New York? Make up your mind.
Chris Gutierrez says Shibata has to stay away from those headbutts before he ends up looking like an Asian Uncle Ruckus.
Well, then you get already fucked up, got kicked in the head. So.
Wow. An Asian Uncle Ruckus. Wow.
The irony of that I've been called Uncle Ruckus already because of my origin. My origin codes. Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus. Knuckles? All these knuckles? I got Ray Villalago. I got that disease. My skin get darker and darker. Anything else in the comment section before we continue? Go ahead. Any more stupidity? Let me know.
I will say.
Let me know, please.
James.
Feed it to me.
James McCroson III. You are asking and making great comments about AEW, and once we get to AEW,
let's hear it. Let's hear one.
This is my personal duty to finish this bottle. This is my personal duty to you fans is to finish this.
What shot are you up to?
I don't even know anymore.
We'll say 9. We'll say 9.
Finish this.
We'll say 9 to be fair.
We're to my level. We are finished.
This is number 9 right here.
I'm gonna pour some more.
James's
double shot.
James's question is whether or not we think we will see David Benoit during All Out.
Do you smoke crack? Do you?
Hey,
you smoke crack? Yes, that's not gonna fucking happen. That's a dumb question.
What? He's curious. He's curious to find out.
Do you smoke crack, Nico? Do you? That's not happening. The fuck? Come on, man. Come on, man.
His other, okay,
What's his other?
and here, and not other question, but like more of a statement, and this is why I would say that he doesn't smoke crack. Is that
Who does heroin? Which one? Listen, if you need, I got it. I'll have me.
Drug guy, Jay.
I'll have me. If you need it, I got it.
He says that AEW will destroy. I don't know if that maybe a little too much.
No. Don't
Destroy WWE. They actually know.
Okay, so he's definitely on drugs.
They actually know how to book their wrestlers. WWE is all over the place. WWE went downhill after they went PG.
He's halfway right. They did go a little bit like off the rails when they went PG. I don't think AEW is going to destroy WWE. I actually think the first couple of weeks on TNT, they will be outdrawn in ratings by NXT because NXT is on USA 1, which is the home for professional wrestling, especially WWE. And they have the WWE moniker on that NXT logo. No matter how much people want to say, oh, NXT is its own entity. It's the best one around. It's the best promotion around. But it's not a fucking promotion. It's a fucking
developmental talent. I don't care what you put. Granted, I'm sure we all love NXT right here.
We do.
But at the end of the day, it's still developmental talent. It's part of WWE. It is WWE. So all you stupid idiots, shout out to Chris Jericho, it is a part of fucking WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. NXT is not its own brand. It is a part of WWE. Get it through your fucking heads. Stop being stupid and understand that NXT is a part of WWE. Thank you.
I will say, yo, you are fully in Top Guy JJ's shoe.
Fuck,
Like,
man.
perfectly.
And that's why Tru Heel High Schooler. I don't think that you should write in the comments. Wow, I've never missed JJ.
He probably want those
How could you miss JJ more? We
Well,
already
not
have a
JJ.
He's gonna it don't even matter. He's gonna doze off in 5 minutes anyway. He probably got pacifier in his fucking mouth. It's going to sleep. It's not gonna leave him out.
The milk is almost warm.
Exactly.
The milk is almost
He's gonna suck some titty milk and he's gonna go to bed. Leave it alone.
I didn't say that.
That's what's gonna happen. You know, I don't know if it's heroin in the titty milk because you know that's everybody does this strip fucking heroin in Ohio. But that's another story. Not so much wrestling here. Fuck Ohio. The city sucks. I don't care who. From Ohio.
I was just in Cincinnati.
I don't give a fuck. It sucks. The city sucks. Ohio sucks.
Cincinnati.
They probably got heroin in the titty milk. So when he goes to sleep, he's probably gonna be a little high. He'll wake up in the morning, go to his job, probably see some more heroin addicts, and then I don't know, Austin. You're still my nigga though, but still.
James, your response we will because we will get into more AEW stuff, so we'll get to that. But I personally I like the way you think, where you're thinking with that, but we will address that a little bit.
All right, so we got to get into what we missed. We're going to run through this very quickly so we can get into our preview of the 3 big shows for tomorrow.
So many of them.
So what we missed was the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super J Cup Night 2, as well as the finals, and it was, we were both wrong. Me and Top Guy JJ were definitely both wrong. El Phantasmo won the Super J Cup. He defeated Will Ospreay in the semifinals, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, with help from his Bullet Club partner, Taiji Ishimori. And then in the finals, he defeated Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, I heard it was a tremendous match. The Will Ospreay match was fantastic, as well as the Dragon Lee match. And it was El Phantasmo who won the Super J Cup. At the end of the night, after he won the cup, it was Jushin Thunder Liger who basically produced the whole entire tour. He refused to put the jacket on El Phantasmo because he didn't like the way El Phantasmo won. Basically, up until Ospreay, El Phantasmo won both of his matches due to a low blow and a roll-up. And then with help of Ishimori, he defeated Ospreay, and then he didn't beat Dragon Lee in the cleanest way possible as well. So basically this caused conflict between ELP and Liger, and he basically challenged Liger to his retirement match. Jushin Thunder Liger will retire at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Both nights, January 4th, January 5th. January 5th will be his last performance, and it was ELP who basically put down the challenge. Once again, see ELP causing trouble. ELP put up the challenge for Wrestle Kingdom 14 against Liger, and a brawl broke out between ELP, Ishimori, Ospreay, and Eagles, setting up the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match. Basically, and we're going to see what happens. Royal Quest, these two teams will be versing in a 9-title match, but we're going to see if that leads to a Junior Heavyweight title match down the line. But basically at the end of the night, they set up El Phantasmo versus Will Ospreay for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. They set up Eagles and Ospreay versus Ishimori and ELP for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. And they set up ELP versus Liger for Wrestle Kingdom for the retirement.
And that just goes to show that they only had, 3 nights?
Yes.
But over 3 nights, the amount of story that they were able to tell, groundwork that they were able to set, it's incredible sometimes to see how companies with a focus are able to take something as that could be as minuscule as just, hey, we have a couple hours over 3 days where we're going to make the most out of it. And we're going to be able to set up things for 6 months from now. And that's, well, not 6 months, but 4 months from now.
No, it is 6 months. Good
Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. So, like, it's just really incredible to see, and kudos to ELP for being able to work with the people that he's working with and hit that low blow and get the crowd heat. Yeah. Get the crowd heat to make it, you build upon that, and now he's saying, I'm going to retire Jushin Thunder Liger. He's leaving, but it's one thing to leave with your arm raised. It's one thing to leave looking up at the lights. And he's saying, I'm going to make him leave looking up at the lights. And that's big. That's big for him and for New Japan going forward.
But, of course, it wasn't all rain and sunshine at the end of the night for ELP. He actually had to go on Twitter this past week and apologize because during his post-victory promo, he basically called Will Ospreay the autistic assassin. Which, of course, you're going to find that hilarious. Of course, you're going to. I can't take this thing going. So he went on Twitter and apologized for his comments if he offended anyone.
As well he should, simply because, I mean, we've now been at Starcast we've been at Starcast for 2 days now. At different times of the day. I gotta say, the one thing that's incredible to see is wrestling fans coming together, and just wrestling fans of all walks of life, of all capabilities and challenges. We all face challenges, and hey, seriously,
This is a walk around. Oh my god!
So ELP was right to apologize because
You should have hit that heel. What the fuck? That's what he apologizing for.
The offender people.
I don't give a fuck. That's what he apologizing. He's the hell. Niggas need to stop being so sensitive. I'm like, hey, bunch of bitch ass niggas. Stop apologizing. He's a heel. You're supposed to get that heat. Apologize. Now he's like a face, like a pussy. He's apologizing for.
But he's not a heel like MJF.
He's a part of Bullet Club. What do you mean?
But he's not a heel like.
He's a fucking heel. What do you mean?
He's not a heel like MJF who can get away
I don't
with literally anything he wants.
MJF, I don't care. He's a heel.
MJF would
Fucking
not apologize for calling
MJF
the outside 6 foot.
God damn it. See, look, this is heel shit right here. Fucking falling down while we're doing it.
Anyway.
Fuck, man.
Apparently, our banner is autistic. But the match of the night was El Phantasmo versus Dragon Lee, and the MVP of the night, even though he did have to apologize on Twitter later. ELP is, of course, the MVP for winning the Super J Cup. So let's hear from the comment section and the Tru Heels, the Spotlight Nation.
Yeah, while fix this.
While we got JJ fixes our banner, and before we get into what's next and preview the 3 big shows for tomorrow.
Well, thus far, there actually hasn't been a lot of comments specifically about the Super J Cup. But
Shocker.
we are hearing some things that about AEW, and so
let's hear about it.
Okay, so we're hearing someone I'm not going to name. It's saying that AEW might be making a video game. We did hear,
Shocker.
Yeah, we did hear that in the pizza email bag. It was asked to Kenny. And Kenny said, and Kenny said that they were looking at it as a possibility. They may do some announcement towards the end of the year.
And we did see a couple of videos of like different actually doing the video game model for their faces and stuff. So.
Yeah. And our other comment is that James, I gotta say, James, you got some interesting ideas. He's saying that WWE should bring back some former hardcore superstars to challenge for the 24/7 title. I don't know if some of the names you're thinking of would be good. Like he's thinking of like Hardcore Holly and Perry Saturn. I mean, 2019 crowds aren't going to know who they are. But I like the idea of bringing back older talents to kind of give a boost without, like, think of how Mick Foley puts over Bray Wyatt without really having to, like, Mick Foley doesn't really look bad, and Mick Foley isn't taking anything away from the current talent. If anything, all he's there to do is to put over current talent for the future. So it is an interesting idea. But those are our comments.
Anything else? You read one more from the comments section as well before we get into these 3 big events for tomorrow.
Tru Heel High Schooler says Jaquan makes Stephen A. seem laid back.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree. Honestly, he makes Top Guy JJ seem pretty tame with the reactions and the words he's been saying during this podcast.
I don't have a filter. You see the filter's like all the way over there.
No filter at all. So let's hear if he has no filter with these predictions, because we got to get into what's coming up next. Tomorrow is a big day. Starting up at 12 p.m. New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest will start at 12 p.m. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Rev Pro is having a show tonight. Will Ospreay versus David Starr will be on that card. The finals of the Road to Royal Quest Tag Team Tournament between Aussie Open and Broden and Samuels will be on this show. And ZSJ, Zack Sabre Jr., the British heavyweight champion, will team up with Minoru Suzuki to verse Hiroshi Tanahashi and the IWGP heavyweight champion Kazuka Okada. So we're going to start from bottom to top for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest card. This is going to be a great show. Honestly, I feel like this is one of the better cards New Japan has produced, especially for outside of Japan. This is one of the best cards of the year. From bottom to top, we're going to go through this. This is a tremendous card. So what you guys got? We got first up, Taguchi. We'll have the team of Young Lions of Shota Umino, the Shooter, and Ren Narita versus the Roppongi 3K team of Rocky Romero, Sho and Yo. Who you got in this one, StatKing?
I mean, I'm biased, but I'm going to go with Roppongi 3K because I feel like them with their mentor, it adds something to it, and they have more chemistry together. Like that's, if we're looking at it from like a, New Japan treats it as a more realistic kind of, in a sense, more of a shoot style. They're with their mentor. They have that level of chemistry together, that level of training together that they've built up over time. So I would give it to Roppongi 3K.
Yeah.
I'll say JJ, same thing.
I think look at you, but like when it's Young Lions, 9 times out of 10, if they're facing an established anybody, team, superstar from New Japan, they don't lose.
This is also true. This is just basic New Japan logic here. So across the board, we're going with the Roppongi 3K team of Rocky Romero, Sho and Yo. Up next, we got some big stars in a lower card matchup. We got the Bullet Club team of the Tokyo Pimp Yujiro Takahashi teaming up with Hikuleo, which is the brother of God, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. He's been in the UK basically on excursion in Rev Pro, so we're going to see how much he's improved in his excursion out in the UK. And they're going to be versing the team of the former IWGP United States champion Juice Robinson and the winner of the G1 Climax 29, Kota Ibushi. Who you got in this one? We're going to start off with we got JJ.
Motherfucking Golden Star. G1 Climax winner. My man, 50 grand. One half of the Golden Lovers. Well, they ain't a team no more now, so.
In their hearts.
G1 Climax winner, Golden Lovers in our hearts. Kota Ibushi.
So we're going with the Golden Juice?
Yeah, Golden Juice. Oh. I'm going with Golden Juice. He said that. I'm just co-signing.
Golden Juice.
We are in Chicago.
You're gonna exactly. R. Kelly's team is gonna win. Whatever. R. Kelly's team is winning. They're gonna piss on the other team, and they're gonna get the win. Shout out to my man Kota Ibushi, one of the best in the world right now.
Absolutely. We got Ibushi and Juice versus Takahashi and Hikuleo.
I mean, it's got to be Ibushi and Juice for me because
Ibushi gonna ride that momentum until Wrestle Kingdom when he becomes champion.
Because as I was having a discussion with somebody some time ago when Kenta joined Bullet Club, they were saying that Kenta could potentially become leader of Bullet Club, and that makes zero sense. But they were saying that there are some Gaijin, in a Gaijin stable of Bullet Club, there are some Japanese people, such as Yukimura. And it was didn't really make sense because
he turned on his fucking thing. It's like just hey,
Yujiro Takahashi really doesn't do as much as you would think as somebody fans gonna do. So it's kind of a bad bitch out with it. That's it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
She's got a muffin ass.
The same way that
Instagram. She's a nice.
The same way that there's nothing wrong when it comes to Kota Ibushi and Juice Robinson kind of just steamrolling. It's just a way to be able to get those names in front of the crowd, in front of that UK crowd.
I'm going with Golden Juice as well.
Definitely Golden Juice. Golden Showers.
Golden Juice across the board. This one is going to be one of the more better matches on the card. We got, like I said, this was previewing the Super J Cup. We got the Bullet Club team of Taiji Ishimori and the winner of the Super J Cup himself, El Phantasmo. They're going to be versing the team of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion,
Big Bad Billy.
And Chaos's own Robbie Eagles, who turned his back on the Bullet Club. There's a lot of storylines in this one. Robbie Eagles turned his back on the Bullet Club. It was Chaos. It was El Phantasmo, who defeated Will Ospreay in not only the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, but as well as the semifinals of the Super J Cup. And is leading to a big match between ELP and Ospreay. So this match also, if Eagles and Ospreay win, they will get a future shot at the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. So who you got, StatKing? Eagles and Ospreay or Ishimori and El Phantasmo?
It's a very interesting setup. It's a very interesting situation. I'm giving it to Ospreay and Eagles, and I'm saying that Ishimori is the one who takes the pin because they're building up Phantasmo as that heel. So here's the thing. They're building up Phantasmo as that heel. Phantasmo's over time is going to be rolling into Wrestle Kingdom for Jushin Thunder Liger, and they give them the win, but they're not. Nothing's getting taken away from Phantasmo if Ishimori is the one that takes the pin. So I'm giving it to Ospreay and Eagles.
I say Ishimori goes. I don't think he takes the pin off for some fact that he's the one that got El Phantasmo that win. So. Albertine was already established off of winning the tournament.
That's right.
So if Phantasmo wins that, he takes the pin, it doesn't look anything good. They're going to build Ishimori into facing Ospreay because he cost him the match. So
you think they're going to set up a new challenger?
Exactly.
So you're going to make Ishimori in the LP?
No, I don't think they're winning. I'm just saying if that was the case, because I got, of course, they're in their home, they're pretty much in their state. So I got Ospreay and Eagles.
You got Ospreay.
For my sake, obviously.
So we're not disagreeing on the first three matchups on this Royal Quest card. I'm going to agree with the two fellas. I'm going to go with Eagles and Ospreay getting the victory here. This one's very interesting. It's leading up to what we talked about in the top news about Naito versus White at the Destruction in Kobe show. It's going to be LIJ versus the Bullet Club. It's going to be Switchblade Jay White teaming with the Crown Jewel. You can check out our interview with the Crown Jewel. Chase Owens on our Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. They're going to be versus the LIJ team of the IWGP Intercontinental Champion Tetsuya Naito and the man that defeated Okada in the G1, Sonata. Who you got in this one? LIJ versus Bullet Club.
So this is, I mean, I said it before, but this is an interesting scenario as well because you have Jay White going to be facing Naito down the road. So who do you have to give the win to? And it's one of those situations where, to me, I'm going to give it to Jay White and Chase Owens because you've got to keep the momentum of why is he facing Tetsuya Naito? Yeah, he wins the G1. He beats him in the G1, but if he's losing a tag match to him later, does he really deserve that title shot? And maybe that's New Japan's booking style, where it's singles matches. He beat him, so if he loses in a tag match, it doesn't matter. But to me, I would say you keep that momentum going of Jay White and Chase and dragging along Chase Owens. Jay White is gunning for Tetsuya Naito and his Intercontinental Championship, so I would say that Jay White and Chase Owens wins.
We got
Jay White and Chase Owens. I mean, they could swerve us to have the Naito on them win. Sure. Because only for some fact that Jay White takes the title. Because I believe 100% White's going to be Intercontinental Champion by the time. That's
Alright.
Well, even Power Struggle, because that's the next. After that, that's the next big show. So
that's true. I'm going to disagree with the fellows for the first time, and I'm going to go with the LIJ team. I think that Sonata gets the victory over Chase Owens. I feel like Chase Owens is the guy in this match to take a loss. I would love to go with Jay White and Chase Owens, but I don't see Sonata losing because he's on his way to a IWGP.
Definitely taking that pin.
I don't see Sonata taking a loss because he's on his way to versus Okada from the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, more than likely at King of Pro Wrestling. And I don't see Naito taking another loss to Jay White, so I'm going to go with the LIJ team of Naito and Sonata, with Sonata getting the victory over Chase Owens.
Because White coming off taking him out of the tournament. So you have him beat him again. I mean, he's already going to get the title match. So they got to make Naito at least look a little bit credible heading into that match. So.
Exactly.
White might have to get the pin. Of course Chase going to get the pin. The fucking scrub. That scrub ass nigga out of here.
He's the crown.
Check out our interview.
He's a crown scrub. Fuck that.
Check out our interview with the Crown Jewel, Chase Owens, and where he answers where his trainer, Ricky Morton, and how many kids he is actually.
Well, he definitely scrubbed it. Crown scrub, like I said.
IWGP Tag Team Championships will be on the line. It's going to be Tama Tonga and Tama Loa. Gorillas of Destiny. GOD will defend against the winners of the, as we said before, the Rev Pro Road to Royal Quest tournament. It's going to be the finals of Samuels and Broden versus Aussie Open.
Team 1-2. I saw it, but I didn't read it. I think Aussie Open.
You think Aussie Open won? I'm pretty sure Aussie Open should be the team that wins that. Yeah, you can look it up. We can get our answer real quick before we.
I think it is Aussie Open.
You think it is?
It makes sense.
It just makes
common fucking sense.
Like, it just makes sense that Aussie Open would win this tournament. The Road to Royal Quest tournament is basically a tournament that's been going on the last couple of weeks to determine who will get this shot in London at the Copper Box Arena. GOD has held the IWGP Tag Team Championship. Boom. They held the IWGP Tag Team Championship since February. They won it at the Honor Rising shows for Ring of Honor. They defeated LIJ to win the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. They had their little series. They won the ROH Tag Team titles back at the G1 Supercard. Had their great series of matches with the Briscoes.
Ladder War. Check out Ladder War from fucking Summer Supercard. Check it out.
Absolutely.
Granted with a shitty crowd, but watch that match.
And GOD does not have a good rep for great matches, but they had a great series with the Briscoes. So who do you think is going to win this one? We just found out Aussie Opens was the winner of the tournament. So Aussie Open versus GOD.
Yeah, Aussie Open.
You think Aussie Open is going to sit down?
The tournament, especially since it was like a mystery, I feel like they pull up that upset in their hometown inside the UK.
Why not? That sounds like a good prediction. Who you got?
I'm actually going to agree with it because Aussie Open recently dropped Progress titles.
There we go. My fucking man, StatKing over there.
You got a situation where Aussie Open was having titles that were connected to, even peripherally, to WWE. Now they don't have them. There's no reason why they can't take them. And you could have a situation where GOD wins the World Tag League to get the titles back.
And GOD has made it to the finals of the World Tag League for 3 years straight. And honestly, when you really look at the New Japan landscape, there is no tag teams on the horizon for GOD to verse after this match. So it does make sense for Aussie Open to be that new team that gets injected in. But I've done an interview with Tama Tonga, so I'm going with GOD.
Ain't nobody really than gorillas. Ain't nobody really than gorillas.
GOD gets the victory on Aussie Open.
GOD, Tama Tonga specifically, has one of the more underrated entrances. Just like, he's coming out, he's like, I'm going to hurt this dude in the ring, but right now, let me just, God, I got good music.
Ain't nobody really
That team is so fucking hard, yo. When the niggas came up to that Russell Kingdom, I was like, yo.
And with the mask.
With the mat, yo. I was like, oh, shit. It's like fucking 6 in the morning. I'm like, oh, shit. Man, loud, yo.
Shout out
to GOD, yo.
Shout out to my boys, Tru Heel Dre of Tru Heel Security.
Shout out my nigga Dre.
As well as the most evil of them all. The most evil of the Tru Heels, Calvin. We watched Wrestle Kingdom, and we heard that song, and we all marked out. So
that song is fire. Yo.
So the top 3 matches for Royal Quest, All Out has a tremendous card, but these may be the top 3 matches of the whole entire weekend. Mm-hmm. We got for the number Openweight Championship, it's going to be Tomohiro Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii, which was voted by Wrestling Observer as the MVP of the G1 Climax 29. This man had an average of 4.25 stars per match during the G1 Climax 29. He's going to be versing the newest member of the Bullet Club, Kenta. This all is following up what happened at the G1 Climax 29 finals, where Kenta turned his back on Tomohiro Ishii and that Chaos team and the Young Lions from LA, as well as Shibata. This set up this big match between Ishii and Kenta for the Never Openweight Championship here in London. Who you got stacking in this big time match?
So, Kenta Shibata, if Shibata is really coming back,
He coming back.
I think, err on the side of caution. I don't think that needs a title, but I think it would be great if it is for a title. And so I'm going to give this match to Kenta.
Who you got in this one?
Same thing, Kenta. Like what you said, the feud does not need a title. So what I got, Kenta can win the belt right now, and then before Wrestle Kingdom gets here, Shibata costs him the title.
We got big shows. We got the Fighting Spirit, we
got Power Struggle,
we got Power Struggle, we got Shit of Pro Wrestling, we got the World Tag League, we got the big show in San Jose.
Think about it this way. If Kenta retains the belt through all of that, then whether or not Shibata in his comeback can dethrone him makes it that much more interesting.
He creates a bigger story.
Exactly. Because they're going to be a one-off. Shibata can come back for one match, and then he needs to be using it to put over Kenta. You never know.
Yeah.
Same thing with if Shibata is really coming back, come back and beat fucking Kenta. So, you know.
You get the title that he's been
Exactly. So it works out both ways, but for this match, I got Kenta definitely beating Ishii.
So I'm gonna actually agree with the fellas once again. We're gonna be across the board, and I think that Kenta gets his victory here. This is the one big title change I can see happening at this Royal Quest show.
Title change, honestly, it's not all to open.
We'll see. We got 2 more title matches going on, but I think Kenta gets the victory over Ishii to become the Never Openweight champion. We got the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be on the line. We got Zack Sabre Jr. defending against the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. It was back at the G1 Supercard that ZSJ tapped out Hiroshi Tanahashi, putting him out with an elbow injury for a few weeks. Hiroshi Tanahashi basically came back at the finals of the Best of Super Juniors tournament. He had an up and down G1 climax. He did defeat ZSJ in the G1 Climax, but he also lost to Will Ospreay in the finals of the G1 Climax.
Match, Billy.
And that was a great match as well. And also, Tanahashi defeated ZSJ in a tag team matchup, which sets up this big matchup in London. So who you got, Tanahashi versus ZSJ?
Give it to ZSJ.
You think ZSJ taps him out again?
After you have ZSJ not doing so well in the G1 Climax, it's just the dude's throwing tantrums everywhere. Like, just keep the belt on him. It's easier that way. You could put the belt on Tanahashi, have him have it for a little while, and then drop it back to ZSJ or drop it to somebody else. But I don't see this. It's easier just to keep it on him, and you are giving that crowd a great match that they otherwise would not see. So I'm giving it to ZSJ.
Who you got?
Tanahashi.
You got Tanahashi.
There's no way in hell. Tanahashi tapped out in the garden, bro. He's not. He's coming. I'm gonna tell you, Royal Quest.
It doesn't need to be a tap out though.
No. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be a tap out. I'm just saying I don't see him being a ZSJ beating Tanahashi again. Because Tanahashi didn't. We had a couple good matches in G1, but outside that, what the fuck else is he gonna do? You know? So have his belt for a little bit, have him be a ZSJ, and I don't know. I guess make it a little credible. Tanahashi, at the end of the day, he's an ace of New Japan. Can't have him just keep losing to fucking Zack Sabre Jr. You know?
I honestly want to agree with we got JJ because Tanahashi winning the British Heavyweight Championship, I feel in a lot of ways elevates the entire promotion of Red Bull.
Oh shit, Hiroshi's the champion? Are you kidding me?
It's going to cause people to go out to the shows, especially like in London, if they decide to expand. If they want to do a show in Japan or the USA.
They can bring Red Pro to Japan or bring him to the States to defend it. I mean, not to the States, but to their company. I mean, to the fucking state to defend the title, you know?
They can bring him to the UK. They can bring him to the United States. There's so many possibilities.
That helps them out a lot.
But I'm actually going to agree with the StatKing. I think that Zack Sabre Jr. gets the victory here.
I don't know, because only for the fact that Ospreay was winning that tag match. Unless something happens and they do have to continue the feud with Taji and them, I don't see Tanahashi losing again. He lost at G1 Supercard.
I just feel like they're going to continue the story of Hiroshi Tanahashi on his downslide. For the first time in years, Hiroshi Tanahashi wasn't involved in the final night of the G1. He was already eliminated from the competition. He lost to ZSJ at the G1 Supercard. He lost to Jay White at the finals of the Best of the Super Junior tournament, and it's all leading to Tanahashi versus Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom. So I feel like it's going to be a series of down points for Tanahashi before he finally has his triumphant victory at Wrestle Kingdom.
But I'm saying with that, he can win the Rev Pro title because they don't want to have him looking weak again. He can lose it before fucking Wrestle Kingdom because of Jericho. Because Jericho popping up like, oh shit, costs on Tanahashi the title.
But to be fair, we're thinking of it more in the WWE sense because really, even in a feud, you don't see a rival cost another rival.
In order to progress two feuds, you've now had somebody cost the title. You've had Shibata cost the title. You've had Jericho cost Tanahashi.
Yeah, that's WWE. Okay, so alright, I might a little bit change my thing. I'm gonna just stick to what I said. Tanahashi.
Keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy over here on this side. You feel me?
So the main event is one of the more underrated rivalries in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's going to be Minoru Suzuki getting his shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, one of the best wrestlers in the world, Kazuchika Okada. If you guys didn't know, Minoru Suzuki was denied. He was snubbed of an opportunity to be in the G1 Climax.
Must be mad for
He was one of the more blatant snubs from the field for the G1 Climax. I think either Taishi or Lance Archer kind of took his spot. But because of that, Minoru Suzuki went on a rampage on the undercard of the G1 Climax,
Right.
basically beating up Young Lions, beating up people from Chaos, beating up people from Taguchi, Japan. And then finally, on the G1 Climax 29 Finals, there was a tag team match between ZSJ and Suzuki versus Tanahashi and Okada. And Suzuki hit the Gotch Pile Driver to defeat the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Called his ass out.
And then laughed at Okada and said that you lost to somebody that wasn't even allowed in the G1 Climax and that he should just give up his title to the king of pro wrestling, that is Minoru Suzuki. So it's Suzuki versus Okada. These guys have had draws in the rain. They've had draws in the G1.
That was the anniversary of New Japan.
I saw you and him wrestling in the rain.
2 years ago, they had a grueling 40-minute match for the IWGP Championship. So who you got? Suzuki versus Okada. We got JJ.
Okada. Like,
We don't even. There's no.
it's like, I'm sure we all agree that Okada's winning. Like, it's
No
not
explanation
even,
needed, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's not. Apologies, Clinton.
I love Suzuki, but he's not being Okada.
Rainmaker. It's just. It's,
Yeah,
it's
that
gonna
is.
I think everyone but Clinton Rusticky, shouts out to him. He's a follower on the Tru Heel page.
Yeah, fuck that nigga.
I think everyone's going to go with Okada
Okada.
getting the victory over Suzuki.
And it's bad for me because he's on my fantasy team. But it's okay, because it's common sense.
You know who's on both of my
I'll take a
fantasy
listen.
teams? The Rainmaker! Yes! Get those points in both fantasy leagues. Let's hear from the Tru Heels and the Spotlight Nation before we get into NXT UK Takeover.
So Maurice Williams agrees on the 3K. We're seeing Juice Nabushi also. People are agreeing with that. Chris Gutierrez says that Yujiro's valet is hotter than a ghost pepper in a sauna.
Buffing 305 ass is
we
huge.
We have Chris also saying that Eagles Ospreay win but lose the title match. ELP takes the junior title off of him, so
They're gonna move on
Really?
halfway soon.
so Willie can go heavyweight and
Nah,
fight Coda for the heavyweight title in Wrestle Kingdom.
After WrestleMania?
I'm assuming you mean after Wrestle Kingdom.
New
You said
beginning.
at Wrestle Kingdom.
New
I mean,
beginning.
you said at Wrestle
or
Kingdom 2021. That's you definitely.
That's another year. No.
Well, I think that's probably because you're looking at Mets and Jets teams for years in the future. So that's But anyway,
Think too far ahead.
Ouch.
we have people voting for Naito and Sonata. People saying GOD retaining the belts. Chris is saying he heard rumors that Aussie Open is New Japan bound. So I would put my money on them to dethrone GOD. We all, in reference to how we felt about Tama Tonga really embracing his entrance, Chris said that Tama comes out like the most gangsta motherfucker alive. I like it.
That's right. Ain't nobody really anywhere else. Ain't nobody really anywhere else. Ain't nobody really anywhere else.
I agree with Izzy in saying that.
What?
Hold on.
You agree with who?
Give him a second. Give him a second.
Fuck Izzy can't. For a fact, I'm going to say his shoot name. Fuck Isaiah Campbell. You do not agree with him. You do not speak that name on this fucking podcast.
I agree
Okay?
with Izzy in that Kenta versus Ishii is going to be a full-out war.
It's going to be great.
You are
I can't say
you
that
are
bad.
right.
I
You
can't
are right.
say
Yeah,
that.
you are right in saying that. You are right in saying that.
Still fuck Isaiah Campbell.
Those are our
So we gotta get into NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. If you guys watched NXT UK Takeover Blackpool, that was one of the better shows of the year. It was their premiere takeover. We had the Mustache Mountain versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, which was one of the best tag team matches of the year. We had Toni Storm win the NXT Women's Championship, and we had Pete Dunne successfully defend against Joe Coffey in the main event, and of course that led to the debut of Volta. And ever since then, it's been Volta's world in the NXT.
Imperium. Period.
Here.
That's good. Imperium. Period. That's dope.
There you go.
Imperium. Period.
It's been Imperium and Volta's world in the NXT UK universe, and everyone else is just living in it. So it comes to Takeover UK Cardiff. We talked about this before, that they decided to run on the same day as the Royal Quest. Also, I think they have like a soccer matchup in Cardiff that's going to be taking some fans away. But this card, honestly, has been well put together. We got, we'll start from bottom to top, as always. We got Travis Banks. Travis Banks, who got the snub on the last NXT UK Takeover. He was taken out by Jordan Devlin, which led to Finn Balor versus Jordan Devlin.
You know, in January, that's long-term build.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Travis Banks is finally going to get his opportunity on an NXT UK Takeover, and he's going to be versing the Scottish Supernova himself, Noam Dar. Noam Dar, if you might remember him from the Cruiserweight Classic, as well as 205 Live. These two gentlemen have had a war of words, basically putting each other down, and it leads to this big one-on-one matchup on the card for NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. Who you got in this one, StatKing?
Travis Banks.
You got Travis Banks getting this big victory.
Yep, Travis Banks.
Travis Banks.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you have built
revenge again,
and now some of the way that we generally think about WWE booking will play a factor in, because now we're talking about WWE. But it's one of those situations where they built it up where the heel has done certain things to get under the skin of his opponent, and we have situations where Noam Dar has been faking injuries in matches. He was actually injured, so like there is enough story that has been told that Travis Banks can move on to something else after this match, and Noam Dar can as well. And Travis Banks gets the win because it's WWE faces win. So that's it's almost as simple as that. It's almost as simple as that's what should happen. So that's what I think will happen. So Travis Banks.
Banks and Dar, you got Banks. I think we agree across the board. Travis Banks needs this big victory. Especially after getting that snub at the last takeover. Yeah. He deserves this opportunity to have a showcase matchup as well as get the victory here. And he's of course already had a title shot against Walter for the NXT UK Championship. So I think he's going to be in line in the future as a top contender for that title. So this one is a battle of the big boys, a horse fight. We got Dave Mastiff, who has been the main monster for NXT UK. He's going to be versing the former #1 contender, Joe Coffey, of Gallus. And this one is going to be last man standing. So if you remember the first NXT UK Takeover, it was Dave Mastiff who got the big victory over Eddie Dennis in a no disqualification match. So once again, they're putting Mastiff in a stipulation match, for this time last man standing. These two gentlemen went to a no contest just a couple of weeks ago on NXT UK television. This is a battle of who is the main monster, who is the main big man, the main horse of NXT UK. Who you got, Mastiff versus Coffey? I'm going to start with you. Got JJ.
Got Coffey.
You think Coffey gets the bounce back win?
He needs a bounce back win. I mean, Albert's no Coffey.
I mean, to be fair, Gallus hasn't gotten a lot of big victories.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to just go with Coffey.
Who you got, Mastiff versus Coffey?
So I'm going to go with Mastiff, because I think they have an opportunity.
Building him up like a monster.
They have the opportunity to build him up as a monster, build him up as that big guy, and maybe I'm showing my hand as to how I think the main event's going to go, but I think it's going to be good to position Mastiff as somebody, a strong monster face, something you don't always see, as somebody who can then potentially challenge for the UK title, the main title. So I think that'll be good. You help move him up the card, and I don't think necessarily that Joe Coffey loses that much if he takes this pin. He'll always be.
Have to be a decisive counter. It could be like, oh shit, he jumps up at the last.
I mean, it's not going to be. It's not going to be a situation like with John Cena, Batista, where he duct tapes Batista's legs.
Let's hope.
But I mean, it's a situation where Joe Coffey doesn't need to be pinned in order to lose. So I think Joe Coffey will be fine if he takes this loss. Gallus, they have that shot at the tag titles, and Dave Mastiff, you build him up. You build up a future face contender, somebody who has the size to go up against the current,
potentially Volta.
Yeah. UK.
So before we get into our top 3 title matches on the NXT UK card, we have a special note. This was revealed on WWE.com exclusive, We got WWE Monday Night Raw superstar Cesaro, the former Raw Tag Team Champion, the former SmackDown Tag Team Champion, the former United States Champion. He will be appearing on NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. So I'm just going to ask you guys for a prediction. What do you think Cesaro is going to do in this card? Is he just going to be kind of the face in the crowd, or is he actually going to do something?
Definitely what I'm saying. They'll call out a superstar. Pete Dunne answers the call. They have a good match. I got Pete Dunne winning only because they're going to build up to Pete Dunne. I mean, I hate to say it, but Cesaro at this point, if they're going to move him out of the WWE, it's going to be an enhancement talent. And we were saying that. But unless they plan on keeping him full time in the UK, there's no reason he should win. There's no reason. So I feel like he calls out a superstar. Pete Dunne answers the call. Pete Dunne beats him. And then we just move on from that. The same thing like I did with Finn in January.
Yeah.
So.
Who you got? What you got happening?
First off, shout out to Cesaro because I don't know if you all remember that match with between Cesaro and Sheamus and Seth Rollins and
Ambrose,
Moxley, where he fucked up his Steve.
That one guy who just hasn't been on WWE TV in a long time. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he finally
Jonathan Good.
Maybe the lunatic fringe just he went crazy. We gotta ask Renee. But I don't know if you guys remember, Cesaro ate that ring post, and he's been wearing braces for the past 2 years. So shout out to Cesaro, he finally got the braces. Finally got that. But he now has an opportunity to get more dental work when he does call out. I agree, Pete Dunne. Dunne comes out. Bitter end. 1, 2, 3.
Once again, I'm going to disagree with these gentlemen. I think that Cesaro won't appear in like a seat in the crowd. I think that I do agree with them that he will call somebody else. But I think it will be the man that's been in NXT UK for a number of weeks. The man that gave the first loss to Ilja Dragunov.
That's bullshit, but anyway.
But the man that is his former, his greatest tag team partner of all time. I know. Yeah, exactly. If you don't know, Sheamus and Cesaro were great tag team partners, but Cesaro's greatest partner is Cassius Ohno, the artist formerly known as Chris Hero, who has been in NXT
KOW.
And if you want to be, you know, like a nice hipster wrestling guy or gal, just in case you are in the Chicago area and you're trying to take advantage of the in-store 20% off sale PWT, they do have Kings of Wrestling shirts on the super discount area.
45% off. So you want to be a fake fan, or you actually know who the Kings of Wrestlers are? 45% off, man.
The StatKing in me wants to tell you that that's Scott Snyder math, but anyway. It's a great sale. Regardless, it's a great sale. You can get a Kings of Wrestling shirt for Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli, or as they're now known, Cesaro and Cassius Ohno. And that's good. I like that one. That's a good.
And it goes on and on and on and on. We are the champions, my friend.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you are not a fan of ROH back in 2006, that was their
probably won't understand what we're talking about.
But speaking of tag teams, we gotta get into the tag team title match for NXT UK. NXT UK Takeover Blackpool. The tag team title match stole the show. It was the opener. It was the Grizzled Young Veterans in the finals of the NXT UK Tag Team Tournament, defeating Mustache Mountain in one of the best tag team matches of the year. And Zach Gibson and James Drake are back once again. GYV, Grizzled Young Veterans, will defend against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, which is being known as the South Wales subculture. They will verse Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of Dallas in a triple threat match for the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. It was Coffey and Wolfgang who originally got the shot to verse GYV, and Andrews and Webster basically talked their way into it, getting victories over Dallas as well as GYV and causing this triple threat to happen. In my eyes, this is the sleeper match of the night. We got GYV, Gallus, or South Wales subculture.
So I know that I said earlier that Mark Coffey's okay, Joe Coffey's okay with taking the loss because Gallus has a title match down the road. This being that title match, I'm actually going to give it to Mark Andrews, the Flash Morgan Webster, because I think that this is more of a long-term booking storyline where they are they're the face team in this match, and you're finally taking the belts off Grizzled Young Vets, putting it onto a face team so that they are in essence placeholders because Imperium is around the corner. So Mark Andrews.
That's smart. Makes sense. Who you got?
I feel where he's coming from, but I don't know. I feel like Grizzled Young Vets. I mean, granted, how NXT UK is like build, I don't think they will tell us so soon. But if that was to happen, the only
So
team I
soon
feel
they
like
held those titles.
it's January, right. I'm just saying though, like how NXT UK is built, they don't defend it enough. Like,
Yeah.
but if they was to lose it and they lose it to what you said, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster,
Possible.
it's only gonna be able. It's only gonna be for Imperium to take that from them. So I'm just gonna go with Grizzled Young Vets for him. So.
I'm going to agree with the StatKing. I think that South Wales subculture gets the victory here, and that they are set up as transitional champions for Imperium, whichever duo that is, whether that's
Iker and Martel.
Yeah, Iker and Martel, or Martel and Alexander. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Great shot.
Well, you can go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
My two good brothers right
And before Sid continues, yes, Steve, if you hate Gibson,
Take your shoes off.
Shoes off.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. Zach Gibson is the true heel. He does that true heel heat. Zach Gibson. Liverpool's number one. Liverpool's number one. Zach Gibson Jr. Zach Gibson is that man.
Junior, Jesus.
I know. I was about to hit him with the savior team.
Yeah.
But Gibson is that dude. He gets that true heel heat. And I'm kind of sad that I have to pick against him, but I'm going with the South Wales subculture. Like I said, it seems like they're setting up for Imperium to be the rulers of NXT UK, so they need to win the NXT UK tag team titles. So this is all a part of the long game to get those titles on them. So Andrews and Webster must win the titles to transition it over to Imperium. This match is one of the matches I'm most looking forward to. We got the NXT UK Women's Championship is on the line. The champion, Toni Storm, will defend against NXT UK's latest addition to the women's division, Kaylee Ray. KLR, one of the baddest women in the UK. She will get her shot at the NXT UK Women's Championship. If you remember back at Blackpool, the first ever takeover for NXT UK, it was Toni Storm who cashed in her opportunity that she won at the Mae Young Classic last year. Yeah. She defeated Rhea Ripley to win the NXT UK Women's Championship. Just a month later, KLR, Kaylee Ray, debuted with NXT UK, and she's been on a warpath leading to this championship opportunity against Toni Storm. Kaylee Ray has held no punches. She's all about becoming the main woman, the ace, the leader of the women's division in NXT UK, and she is willing, ready, and able to defend and beat down Toni Storm to get that championship. So who you got, KLR versus Toni Storm at NXT UK Takeover Cardiff?
There's no need for me to even explain this, KLR.
Only KLR?
You already explained it.
She's been building the warpath.
It's
been leading to this. So you got Kaylee Ray versus Toni Storm. We got JJ.
Unless they moving up Toni Storm, I got her between. Unless it's a plan. But the way the story will look, like they're trying to garner sympathy for Toni Storm, so I got Toni Storm. Because Taylor is pretty much the love of the shot.
You can go over what she said. Basically, it's like
she's like, she broke up her father. Kaylee Ray broke up like her father not being there. How all these good kids looking to her. She's not even a good role model. Shit like that. I got Toni Storm.
She brought up that she's not a good role model.
Her father not being in her life.
Her leaked photos, maybe. I don't know. Good as I don't know. I'm very conflicted. If you know me, Toni Storm, I've made claims and allegations that she's my baby mama.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's besides the point. But Kaylee Ray seems that she has all the momentum in the world to get the victory here. But yes, I will go with my original baby mama. I'm going to go with Toni Storm to get the victory. Yes, original. You'll get breaking news on the next one. But yes, Kaylee Ray.
We'll just say that there are many people watching Tru Heel Heat at all times.
True hair club shooters. For life.
I do not.
Storm, I think Storm gets the victory here, but I don't think this is the end of the feud between Kaylee Ray and Toni Storm. And I feel like Kaylee Ray will win the NXT UK Women's Championship from Toni Storm, but it won't be right here.
What?
Yes. Yeah. And in the main event, this is going to be one of the best matches of the entire weekend. It is Volta versus the first ever NXT UK champion himself, Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate of Mustache Mountain was taken out by Volta a couple of months ago at the Down Low Festival. He got powerbombed into the apron, then powerbombed into the ring post. If you saw Prime Target NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, there was a great special between outlining how we got to this match. Tyler Bate returned, and he's been on a House of Fire. He even lifted up Volta for the Tyler Driver 97. So he gets his opportunity, his first shot at the NXT UK Championship since his rematches against Pete Dunne just over 2 years ago. So Volta versus Bate. Who you got? We got JJ.
Unless you're stupid as fuck, which most of us study for are. No, it's offensive. But anyway, that's stupid as fuck. Clearly, Walter is winning. It's not even a second thought. And I'm going to put the belt on Tyler so soon. So I got Walter winning. For my sake, obviously. But yeah.
I can't be talking about how Mark Andrews and Flash Gordon Webster are placeholders for the Imperium if I'm not also picking Walter. Walter's winning this.
Volta! Across the board, I feel
Across the board.
Volta had one of the best matches of the year against Pete Dunne back at NXT TakeOver New York, where he won the championship. He had a great match against Pete Dunne in the rematch on NXT UK television. But this is his latest opportunity to impress. If you saw Volta versus Tyler Bate back at Progress last year in Wembley Arena, it was a fantastic match. I don't think they will reach the apex of that greatness of that match, but they will have a great match in Cardiff, no matter what, and Volta will get the victory. But we are in Chicago for one reason and one reason only.
You see this? AEW Wrestling.
AEW All Out
All of us.
Tomorrow
We
night.
live here, but all of us.
We will be in the Sears Center 1 year after All In, where we were there live. The StatKing was right a couple of seats away from me, and we were there and we witnessed history as 10,000 people filled the Sears Center to have All In, which led to AEW being born in January, and now it leads to the big event back at Sears Center, the biggest event of All Elite Wrestling calendar tomorrow night. Before we get to that and break down the card, let's hear from the Spotlight and the Tru Heels.
So, okay, we have Steve Salvage was saying that best heat in the NXT brand period for Gibson.
You're right on the money, Salvage.
And we are having. I think it goes back to that question of whether or not we're going to see. So, as we get into the predictions, we know that down the road on the first AEW television show, Chris Jericho has some mystery tag partners.
Yes.
And so James McCrossan earlier was saying that he feels as though it's going to be the Hart Foundation.
Ooh, that's a new one. I haven't heard that. I've heard people predict like Pac and someone else. I predicted LAX, but
that's why I was saying he has some really interesting thoughts about that. But that's mainly our discussion.
All right, well, we'll hear more AEW related comments or anything you thought about Royal Quest or TakeOver Cardiff in a bit. But we got to break down this All Out card on the buy-in, the pre-show. It will be available on YouTube. We got the 21 women Casino Battle Royale. We got the big swole Ariel Monroe. We saw her earlier at StarCast. We got Awesome Kong in this one. We got Brandy Rose. We got
Teal Piper. We got Jazz, the former WWE Women's Champion herself. Eva Lees from Lucha Underground. We got Sadie Gibbs. We got Shazay McKenzie. And 10 spots to be filled. Nyla Rose is in this one. Who you got in this 21 women Casino Battle Royal? 21 women will be involved, and the winner will be involved in the inaugural championship match to determine the AEW Women's Champion. Who you got?
So I think it's this is one of the matches that kind of is, for me, unpredictable, because you have Riho and Hikaru Shida down later in the card, and we don't know exactly who's winning there, right? We may have predictions, which, I mean, not may, we will, because we're going to be talking about it in a little bit. But it's one of those situations where, depending on who wins there, or even actually no, depending on who wins in the Battle Royal, we may have an idea of who wins that match. You can have a situation. You can have a situation where the Joker card.
So you can have, honestly, because the number chip, you can have a face in the face.
You could. No, you could. That's true. But like, you have a situation where you could have Awesome Kong having the Joker card, and she's winning the whole thing. You can also have a situation where you are putting it on the woman who has maybe one of the larger mainstream knowledges that the crowd has, or that they're pushing heavy by going to Pittsburgh. You have Britt Baker.
Yeah.
So it's a wide open range, and I'm going to go with Awesome Kong winning the Casino Battle Royale. I love it for Britt, but I'm going to go on this err on the side of caution and say that they're going to have it be a monster heel, that they can have Brandy Rhodes be looking as though she's the one pulling the strings from behind the curtain. So I'm going to go with Awesome.
Who you got?
Damn, man, you really saying that, just trying to prove you a loop.
He's like, you're making them think now.
But the way they've been building up AEW, and especially even to like they're not even calling the Pittsburgh show Pittsburgh, from the Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I'll have Britt win the Battle Royal.
I mean, Britt got the victory at Double or Nothing in that big fatal four-way. Britt Baker was the first ever woman signee for AEW, so not a bad pick at all. Awesome Kong has the mainstream coverage from Glow, as well as her time in TNA, as well as WWE. So those are two good picks. I'm going to go with a woman that they've been pushing basically on the peripheral. If you remember back at Double or Nothing, we had a vignette for this woman. We've had vignettes on the Road 2s, and this is her debut matchup. No.
I know where you're going.
Sadie Gibbs. Sadie Gibbs is one of the most amazing women. If you've never seen her in the ring, you are bound to be impressed this Saturday at All Out, and I think Sadie Gibbs gets the victory in her debut matchup at the Casino Battle Royal at All Out. This one will be another great one. It's going to be full of spots. We got Private Party in a tag team matchup. They will be against Angelico and Jack Evans. Angelico and Jack Evans coming off the loss against Best Friends back at Double or Nothing. Private Party coming off a series of losses. They lost to the Young Bucks at House of Glory. They lost the three-way matchup back at Fyter Fest. Who you got in this one?
Stuff. They both coming up for being losers. So they had a little thing with the Bucks. I feel like the Bucks. I mean, because the Bucks, of course, they run the tag team division for the company, but they want to put Private Party needs more coverage than Angelico. We know who they are.
Yeah.
So I would think Private Party.
Who you got, StatKing?
I want to say I feel like it's going to be Private Party, because out of the two teams, they're the ones who have gotten the high-profile match with the Bucks. They're the ones who have gotten being mentioned on being the elite by the Bucks. They're the ones who seem as though the Bucks are definitely Bucks are definitely behind. They're really big on Private Party. So I'm gonna go Private Party with this.
I'm gonna agree with the two good brothers to my right and to my left. I think what AEW has shown is when they basically put out these matches for future events, they try to build up these individuals, especially if they're versing the bigger stars of the Young Bucks, Cody or Kenny Omega. They try to give these guys that are going up against them a victory so they look more credible going into their matchup. So I think Private Party gets this victory on the buy-in to set up their matchup with the Young Bucks in Boston for the tag team tournament on AEW on TNT.
Right, they're in there for definitely Private Party.
Exactly. Yep. But this one, I think, is going to kick off the show. If you remember Double or Nothing, these individuals kicked off that show, and I think they're going to kick off the main show for All Out. SCU, SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. They will be versing two boys and their dinosaur, Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. We were there live at the weigh-in for the press conference, and these guys were all very entertaining. We saw the setup for this match on Being the Elite with Daniels being attacked by his child's dinosaur. we had Frankie Kazarian basically at a Chuck E. Cheese, and then we had Scorpio Sky watching Jungle Buck,
big fuck boy with that. Who the fuck wears a snapback like this? Who does that?
I mean,
a fuck boy.
I mean, a better question.
Scorpio Sky's a fuck boy.
A better question is, who gets married and is still in the
wait, let me finish.
Who gets married and is still in the DMs of former Tru Heel Heat hosts?
Anyway, let's talk about SCU versus two boys and a dinosaur.
Who you got? We got JJ in this one.
SCU as a whole, I mean, they're already established. They're trying to build. You can tell they're trying to build two boys and a dinosaur. They're trying to build that team. There's no reason SCU wins. So I'm going with two boys and a dinosaur. Easily.
It's a good pick. Who you got?
It's funny because in our fantasy league, I have SCU, and he has them. So
I'm not going for them because of that. Just no.
I'm not accusing you of any kind of impropriety.
I feel like it will.
But I will say this: for those who are in the know, there is a test of strength in the lobby of StarCast, and I was witness seeing Marco Stunt trying to pull off this test of strength, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And at the weigh-in press conference, we were there.
Yes.
We saw him having to fill a T-shirt with
tea kettles,
pots and pans, all kinds of crazy stuff, in order to try to just break 102.
He got to 102.
How is that man? And we use that term. Supposed to fight against an athlete on the level of Frankie Kazarian. On the level of knowledge of a Christopher Daniels, so a ring general. Despite all of that, I'm still taking Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco. Because from a booking standpoint, SCU is very well established. Crowds know who they are.
SCU.
But crowds are going to learn who Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt are. And you're already building. This is how you build stars. This is how you do it. You use your experience, talent to put over the younger talent. And if there's anything that we have learned from the mindset of our AEW execs, it's that they want to find ways to build stars. And for that reason, I picked Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt.
I'm gonna disagree with both gentlemen, and I'm gonna go with SCU. I think that SCU gets the victory here. I think that two boys and a dinosaur on the AEW on TNT, they will use those opportunities to basically get them over with victories. But I believe on the pay-per-views, all they need to do is impress, is get that crowd popping like they did at Fight for the Fallen, like they did at Fyter Fest. Like Luchasaurus got one of the biggest pops in the Casino Battle Royal back at Double or Nothing, and I think they're going to do that again. It's going to be a hot-ass opener. It's going to be fun-ass trios match. Marco Stunt's going to be flying everywhere. Jungle Boy is going to be improving because he improves in every single match he's in.
Don't forget, one of the 6 competitors has a master's degree.
He weighs 2 tons and 1 master's degree.
I mean,
So
there's knowledge there.
he's the heaviest of the heavyweights. So Luchasaurus is going to impress once again, but I think SCU gets the victory because they need to establish themselves as the premier trio of AEW. This one will determine who is going to verse the winner of the 21 Women Casino Battle Royal in Washington, D.C. at debut show for AEW on TNT to determine the AEW Women's Champion. It's going to be Riho versus Haruka Shida. Haruka Shida and Riho, they got into it during the 6-woman Yoshi match back at Double or Nothing. Also had a little encounter during the 3-way at Fyter Fest after Riho got the victory in that 3-way featuring Shida as well as Nyla Rose. And this big-time singles matchup, I feel like the crowd is going to take a while to get into, but I think these 2 women will impress.
Hey, so by the end of the match, the crowd is going to get into it.
Absolutely. So, StatKing, who you got? Riho versus Shida in this one.
See, it's difficult for me to pick this match because this match is depending on who wins the battle.
Battle Royale, same thing, yeah.
So, if I'm picking Awesome Kong, I'm picking Rio. Because you have the size, you have that size differential. It's just, it kind of almost writes itself for October 2nd. So I'm gonna pick Rio, picks up the win. She goes up against Awesome Kong. Kong is your first AEW Women's Champion, and we're already headed to Pittsburgh.
You got in this one.
Since I chose Britt Baker for the Battle Royale, I gotta pick you.
See, and that's what we're saying.
Yeah, that's
really is. So I'm going to go with Haruka Shida as well. I feel like Haruka Shida is one of the women that are going to build this women's division around with stars like Britt Baker as well as Awesome Kong. But I think Haruka Shida is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today. And I think Shida versus Sadie Gibbs, October 2nd, get ready for a woman's banger. It's going to be one of the better women's matches of the year, but I think Haruka Shida gets the victory over Riho, especially
for the inaugural Women's Championship. Yeah. They're going to go, no pun intended, they're going to go all out.
Absolutely. But I also think that Riho got the victory at Fyter Fest, so she's not going to get this victory here. We got tag team tournament action. We're going to determine who's going to get a first-round bye in the AEW Tag Team Championship Tournament. It's going to be Best Friends, who won the 3-way
Side note, I don't mean to cut you off, but when you think about it, is it really a bye? If they're fucking having a match to have a first-round bye, it pretty much is a fucking first-round match. So it kind of makes no sense, but continue, brother.
We haven't seen the bracket yet, so it's still a bye.
It's still stupid. They're fighting to have a bye to only still advance to the next match.
I see what you're saying. It's weird because I mean,
if you
look at it from a sports perspective, if you look at let's take the NFL for example, whoever wins the conference of the AFC and the NFC gets a bye. It's based off of their previous track record.
Exactly.
And in this situation, they don't have that track record.
They're having a match to go into
having a match to kind of determine the track record. But I see it.
Tomato.
Yeah.
Best Friends. They won this right to be in this matchup back at Fight for the Fallen. No, Fight for the Fallen actually.
No, Best Friends had the Fyter Fest match.
You're right. That was on the buy-in for Fyter Fest, and then the Dark Order won their 3-way matchup back at Fight for the Fallen. So these 2 teams will go up against each other to determine who gets the first round bye. Of course, it was the Dark Order who debuted at Double or Nothing, attacking Best Friends and Helico and Jack Evans after their matchup. So who you got in this one, the Dark Order versus Best Friends?
I gotta go with Dark Order. We were talking about this earlier in the day, and it's one of those situations where you would want the Best Friends to win, maybe if you are fans of them, but it's one of those situations where if you're trying to think objectively, which is hard for many wrestling fans, but if you're trying to think objectively, the Dark Order is not as known as the Best Friends. And it's one of those situations where you're giving a heel team the bye.
Exactly.
And almost more importantly than whether or not they're less well known than Best Friends is giving a heel team the bye. Specifically with the Dark Order, because they have that kind of malevolent, mystical element where they're causing lights to go out. They're just coming up out of nowhere. Like it's one of those situations that you don't know what's going to happen with them. That giving them that bye kind of has them looming over the rest of the field as we build towards crowning the first tag team champions. So the Dark Order.
That same thing, but the Dark Order. There's no reason. If we're trying to establish teams, we know who the Best Friends are. You had them in that were Best Friends. Exactly. You had them established. I mean, we know who Dark Order are. But to build that team, especially going to a tournament as a heel team, there's no reason why Best Friends should win. So we go with Dark Order.
It just makes more sense for a heel team to get this bye, especially because the Dark Order is not really over with a lot of the AEW crowd. They need to get these victories to get over and to get the heat that they really should have. So I think that we're all across the board going for the Dark Order here. This one is the Crackle Barrel Battle of the Night.
Wait, is it really?
Yes,
it's actually Crackle Barrel Clash.
Yeah, the Crackle Barrel Clash. It is sponsored by Crackle Barrel.
Maybe we got to go to Cracker Barrel tomorrow morning.
Well, how far is Crackle Barrel from us?
We'll find out.
We'll learn today.
Darby Allin, who's coming off a draw against Cody back at Fyter Fest. He lost in the 6-man tag team matchup, which started this whole thing. These 3 men were in a 6-man tag team match back at Fight for the Fallen, where they lost to the team of Shawn Spears, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. After the match, these 3 men battled backstage. So we got Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, and Joey Janela. 3 men that have yet to get a victory in AEW, but 1 man will walk out with their first win in All Elite Wrestling. Who you got, StatKing?
Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc because the crowd has seen... Yeah, the crowd...
Jimmy Havoc lost in the 4-way back at Fyter Fest. He also lost in the Casino Battle Royal back at Double or Nothing.
But in comparison...
And in the 6-man at Fight for the
But in comparison, Joey Janela has had a single match against John Moxley. Get well soon.
And he almost died.
But he has had a single match. Darby Allin has also had a singles match. Jimmy Havoc has not. And I feel as though it's one of those situations that, down the road, there's going to be plenty of people week to week complaining about AEW misusing talent, not using people properly. You guys are going to be complaining about it just the same way you guys complain about WWE. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those situations where they have the ability, to me at least, to say, okay, we've kind of shown people who Darby Allin is through the vignettes on YouTube. People already kind of knew who Joey Janela was, Spring Break, all his work in the Indies. But how many people really know or who Jimmy Havoc is? He was in TNA Impact for a couple
He was in TNA for a short time.
He's definitely, his work in progress has been well documented, but how many people knew about it at the time as it's happened? So to me, I think you are having that kind of...
That's news to me.
TNA.
A short feud with this back in TNA.
And he was on, I think it was a WrestleMania week match against Sami Callihan. It was a no holds barred match where he ends up losing after getting, I think, powerbombed onto Legos. But this is Jimmy Havoc, who is one of the kings of the death match, right? Like that's what he's known for. And again, this is a triple threat, so things are going to happen, right? And you got Darby Allin, who apparently has no problems throwing himself into a coffin drop onto the ring. And you have Janela. Those 2 words, that name speaks volumes. So you have a situation where there's a triple threat. You're going to have craziness happening in this match. Cracker Barrel is sponsoring it, so maybe the Barrel's going to be involved.
Hey, definitely.
Jimmy Havoc, I think, comes out on top.
We got JJ.
I have Darby only based on the fact that how Cody, like, I won't say put him over. Well, I don't say put him over. Offensive like they had a draw at a Fighter Fest. So I feel like they're trying to push Darby. So I'm going to go with Darby Allin.
I'm going to agree with the lead guy, JJ, here. I think that Darby Allin is the one that has the most momentum here. He's coming off a loss against Shawn Spears. He was the one that took the loss in that 6-man tag team matchup, which led to this whole matchup happening. And I feel that Darby Allin is, out of all three of them, the one that has the most potential to be a star on television, to be a star for AEW, because Darby Allin has that momentum, and he's a different type of cat. He's a different type of character all the way around. Darby Allin was the man who was supposed to beat Austin Theory for the Evolve Championship.
That is true.
So AEW, if you're going to sign him, you better do something with him. And this is the opportunity to do something with him on the biggest card of the year. So I think Darby Allin gets his first win in AEW in this 3-way.
I don't feel like they had him go freaking Tom and draw with that one of the executives for no reason. You know?
Exactly.
That's
And
right.
speaking of
That's
that
right.
executive,
Ooh.
we have what happened after the match at Fyter Fest between Cody and Darby Allin. It was a certain gentleman who came out and made his presence known in AEW. It's going to be Cody going one-on-one with his former tag team partner from way back in the day from OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. It will be Shawn Spears, the chairman of AEW. Why is he the chairman? Because he used Cody's skull to scramble some eggs and split the back of his head open, 13 stitches to seal up Cody's head, and at All Out, Cody versus Shawn Spears, by far in my eyes, this is the best built matchup for All Out. All they had physical action-wise is Shawn Spears hitting the chair shot on Cody that split his head. We had Shawn Spears then get the victory over Darby Allin, the man that Cody went to a draw with. And then we've had Shawn Spears then hire the legendary former Four Horsemen himself, Tully Blanchard, as his in-ring advisor. So he's going to be in Cody's corner, in Shawn Spears' corner. And then during the contract signing, basically they put the stipulation that Cody couldn't have his whole Nightmare family, Pharaoh, DDP.
Wait. First off, they said one person can accompany.
Yes, he can only have one person in his corner.
Pharaoh isn't a person.
He's a person now.
Man, what if you chose Pharaoh?
Pharaoh is more over than
75% of the current WWE roster.
And if you're disagreeing with that, do you really like No Way Jose?
No, wait, Jose.
Fuck! No Way Jose. Okay?
But we got JJ.
Fuck! No Way Jose.
Who you got? Cody versus Shawn Spears.
Easily Shawn Spears. There is no... If Cody beats fucking Shawn Spears, there are AEW. I'm sorry, I love it. But if Cody beats Shawn Spears, AEW is contradicting themselves. Easily. There's no reason Cody gets another big win. There's no reason. He doesn't need it. It's not needed. You're trying to build up Shawn Spears. This whole fucking feud. There's no reason why Cody beats him at all. No reason. I'm going to agree with the weed guy, JJ, and I'm going to go with Shawn Spears in this one for obvious reasons, because you guys know I don't like Cody. But Cody versus Shawn Spears, who you got stacking?
You have a storyline that has been built of animosity, and the only time these guys have touched is one time. Mm-hmm. You have a situation where we don't know who is going to be accompanying Cody to the ring. We've been given a glimpse into the mindset of Shawn Spears. We have been given nothing into the mindset of Cody Rhodes. This is a situation where they have the ability to build a solid, amazing, top-tier talent by having Shawn Spears beat Cody Rhodes. And it's one of those situations where you can't, and shout out to all the real Cody fans who went out and bought Throne Breaker shirts. You can't have a moment where you break the throne and then do something that the guy who sits on that throne would do. And that's something that Triple H would do.
Mm-hmm.
He would beat Shawn Spears in this storyline. Clean. Let's think back.
Crossroads 1, 2, 3.
It's not even. It's going a little bit back, but like let's talk about Sheamus and Triple H. Yeah, Sheamus gets the win back at Extreme Rules afterwards with the left.
I mean, fuck Triple H up.
But when the bright lights are on and the world is watching, Triple H won
At WrestleMania 26.
And this is one of those situations where Cody has seen all these things. Cody knows all these things. Whether you like him or not, you have to at least respect the guy's knowledge of the business and knowledge of kind of what works and what doesn't. And he's seen what doesn't work. He kind of knows what does work. And Shawn Spears, out of all of the matches, okay, with the exception of with the news of what recently happened with somebody's elbow, before that, all of the matches, this was probably the easiest to predict. Shawn Spears has to win this match.
He has to win. He needs to win more than anyone else on this card. Shawn Spears was called the good hand by Cody, which led to his chair shot against Cody at Fyter Fest. And Shawn Spears cut an excellent promo on the road to All Out, basically saying that Cody has become everything he's hated. He's become an executive. He's become the Vince McMahon of AEW. And now he's looking down on people like Shawn Spears. So this is a big match.
And if I can just add one thing, is that I really like the fact that what set Shawn Spears off was being called a good hand, because WWE consistently and constantly shies away from being called or considered a wrestling company. And in this situation, what started this entire feud is a wrestling terminology. And that's really important, because AEW is going to face a lot of uphill challenges, but they're facing it knowing that first and foremost, they are a wrestling company.
And they're not insulting the fans and staying away from that terminology or feeling like it's too insider. They expect us to know these type of things. So this match, in a lot of ways, a lot of people think it's going to be the best match on the card. This is a match that's been building from January to now. It's going to be the Lucha Bros, the AAA Tag Team Champions, defending against the premier tag team in professional wrestling, the premier tag team in AEW, Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. It's going to be a ladder match known as
Escalate del Lebuete, something like that. Ladder of Death. Put it that way.
You're Dominican.
For the Gringos.
And it's going to be for the AAA World Tag Team Championship. So we got to start all the way back 3 years ago in PWG. It was the Lucha Bros basically debuting in PWG, getting a victory over the Young Bucks, making them 1-0. Then it was for the AAA Tag Team Championships back in Mexico. The Young Bucks made a surprise appearance, and they defeated the Lucha Bros for the AAA Tag Team titles. At Double or Nothing, they successfully defended those titles against the Lucha Bros in a fantastic match, one of the best tag team matches of the year. Then back in Mexico, in a rematch in June, it was the Lucha Bros who got the victory back against the Young Bucks, making themselves 2-0. If you want to bring in 6-man tag team matches at Fyter Fest, there was the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid losing to the Elite of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And then at Triple Mania in Mexico, just a month ago, it was Laredo Kid and Lucha Bros getting the victory back against the Elite, making the whole entire thing 3-3. This is the rubber match between the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. We got JJ. He's getting comfortable taking his shoes off. Who you got in this one?
Well, I won't be biased because it's for the jacket. But I got Lucha Bros. There's no reason they just want to belt back to lose it again, unless they're trying to continue this feud. But we've seen enough already. So I got Lucha Bros.
I think it's time to end this feud, so I'm going to agree with Weed Guy JJ, and I'm going to go with the Lucha Bros getting the victory. But I say if Phoenix, we've heard that Phoenix had a leg injury just this past weekend. They say
the match. But I didn't think about that because kind of Bucks kind of almost a little bit gave it away because they're going to be in a tag team tournament.
Like the Phoenix got the injury, so we don't know if he's 100%. I think if he's less than 100%, this is guaranteed to be a good match. If he is close to 100%, it's going to be tremendous. It's going to be a classic. Who you got in this one? Lucha Bros and Young Bucks.
So it's interesting that the previous match that we talked about, Cody and Shawn Spears, is being built where the two competitors, two people involved, have touched each other once. In comparison, these teams have faced each other a number of times,
Especially
in the
this
past
year.
few months. In the past few months. And it's just interesting to see that the difference in the booking. But it's one of those situations where
It's a dog.
but it's,
American Wolves. AEW.
let's not be as pedantic as many WWE ones. It's just like, oh, this person's contract or AEW. I've seen nonsense such as somebody should the AEW should sign the CFOs.
Oh God!
For music,
Please
really?
stop.
I would love for them to
Really?
Please
CFOs
stop.
to go to AEW?
Let's not get off too off the rails. Who you got? Lucha Bros.
But that's interesting to bring up because this is a storyline, and it goes to show about the booking that everything makes sense and everything works towards a reason. It's not just like, oh, this is the hot name, they should go to XYZ. Lucha Bros win this match because that's what's supposed to happen. That's what we have been shown should happen. And it's not as though, it's not like, even if you know or feel as though this is what should happen, you can still go into a match, you can still go into an event, to watch an event, thinking something else could happen. And it's just, it's one of those situations where, you know what, Matt and Nick, they've pulled out gutsier wins in the past. Incredibly gutsy wins. Could they beat Lucha Bros? Yes. Should they beat Lucha Bros? No. And that's why Lucha Bros win.
And if you know the Young Bucks in the ladder matches, it's always guaranteed to be one of the best matches of the night. Young Bucks versus Hardys back in Orlando 2 years ago was a tremendous ladder match. 3 years ago, them versus The Addiction versus Motor City Machine Gun was absolutely fantastic and one of the best ladder wars that ROH has ever seen. Just this past December, them, SCU, and the Briscoes had
phenomenal.
an insane ladder war at Final Battle in ROH. So
Okay, Nick almost killed himself.
I think it's going to be another classic from the Young Bucks in a ladder match. This one may be the match that is able to exceed this ladder match, though. This was originally supposed to be Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, the purveyor of violence, the unscripted violence, the paradigm shift that is known.
The lunatic fringe actually left off the leash.
Yes, but unfortunately, due to his 9 matches, his 9 grueling matches in Japan, he suffered an elbow infection. So that last week on Tru Heel Heat 45, we broke the news that Jon Moxley was out of All Out. He could not even make the trip to Chicago. They had to cancel his meet and greets, cancel his events for
Oh, shit.
Well,
Man, go ahead.
Japan's just upset because he paid money.
and because they
Which, to be fair, I'd be upset.
and they replaced his interview with wrestling with
What's
stereotypes. So yeah,
I mean,
he's very upset. But
we don't use the sexist JJ for lightly.
no reason. But they did replace this match with an absolute banger certified. It is gonna be the former King of the Cruiserweight, the former Dragon Gate Heavyweight Champion, Pac, PAC, the artist formerly known as Neville, will go one-on-one with the Cleaner, Kenny Omega. The Cleaner versus the Bastard at All Out.
The bastard.
Who you got? Pac versus Omega.
One-winged angel. Who are we kidding ourselves with?
One-wing angel.
One-winged angel. Pac. I mean, I'm wearing the shirt. Pac didn't want to. And maybe it was Pac and Dragon Gate, or just Dragon Gate, whatever the case may be. Pac had to pull out of the match earlier, and it was one of those situations where he didn't want to lose while he was holding the title. He's no longer holding the title because if you follow Dragon Gate, they had issues within Real Extreme Diffusion, the faction that Pac is part of, Ben Kay left the group. He was ostracized. He was kicked out. He wins their version of the G1/Royal Rumble. He challenged Pac for the Dragon Gate Championship, which opened the Dream Gate. Open the Dream Gate Championship. He wins, so Pac is no longer the champion. So he has the ability to take the loss. And honestly, my takeaway from this match is not necessarily that it is happening, or not necessarily that we're finally getting the match that we thought we were going to get. It's simply that we now have the ability or possibility that Pac is going to be a weekly AEW person. And that's what I'm looking at. That's what determines everything for me. Whether Kenny Omega wins, whether Pac wins, honestly, what I'm happier about is that we now have the ability to potentially have Pac on a week-to-week basis on TV, on AEW, on TNT.
So I'm gonna go with Omega because I feel like he needs that big win, especially when watching BT this weekend. You would tell that it's going to continue to feud with Moxley and him leading to the end of the year because of his injury. But if Pac wins, I wouldn't be surprised. And I feel like that would be a way to keep the fans intrigued with Pac heading to AEW if he's actually staying. I'm just over that.
I mean, honestly, a lot of people don't think this is going to go either way. I feel like a lot of people think Omega's going to get the victory here, but it is going to honestly go either way because I don't think Omega was going to win if he was versus Moxley. I feel like he was going to lose against Moxley, and they were going to set up Kenny Omega basically being 0-2, being 1-2, and having to work his redemption angle when they get to TV on TNT. So I can easily see a scenario where Pac gets his victory, becomes 1-0 in AEW. But honestly, I feel like Omega needs this victory, and I feel like this is going to be the match of the night. It's going to be tremendous. If these guys get 20 minutes plus, it's guaranteed to be close to 5 stars.
Pac's going to be able to prove himself. Everybody's writing him off like, oh shit, the Moxley thing. Oh man, I want to see Moxley more, blah, blah, blah. Not knowing that Pac is a much better worker, than Moxley. So he's gonna go out there, I'm sure, without a doubt, to prove so that you guys know that Pac is not gonna fuck with. So they're gonna go out there and kill it. I have high hopes in this match.
Moxley is the bigger star, he's the better promo, but they did lack a lot when it came to the rivalry between Moxley and Omega, and them Moxley being out of this match is gonna help them create a bigger rivalry for when they eventually do this match. Guy JJ has had one too many shots of Hennessy, so we gotta almost wrap things up, and we're gonna get into the main event of All Out. AEW All Elite Wrestling determines its first ever World Heavyweight Champion, and the main event of AEW All Out is gonna be Chris Jericho going one-on-one with Hangman Adam Page. It was Chris Jericho who got the victory at Double or Nothing over Kenny Omega in the main event to get this opportunity. It was Hangman Adam Page who got the victory in the Casino Battle Royal back at Double or Nothing to get his opportunity here. Hangman Page got a victory in the Fatal 4-Way at Fyter Fest, as well as a big victory over Kip Sabian at Fight for the Fallen. After the match, it was Chris Jericho who attacked him. And then Chris Jericho cut a scathing promo, which Hangman also came out and attacked him after that. And then Hangman cut one of the best promos of his entire career when he came out at House of Glory in New York City and talked about cowboy shit and how cowboy shit led to the creation of AEW, and cowboy shit would lead to him becoming the first ever AEW champion. Chris Jericho says that he needs to win this victory. If he loses this match, Chris Jericho feels that his whole career has been a sham. His whole career is over if he loses this match against Hangman Page. So you have two men that have basically said that they need to win or their whole career is a waste.
But Jericho saying that, I know he's losing.
You think so?
Going in for some fact that, come on, it's fucking Chris Jericho. You mean to tell me, Jericho, at the end of the day, you have a career spans 30 years. You're a world-renowned superstar. If you didn't even say some stupid shit like that, you're a loser. And it makes me feel good.
I would disagree with that.
How? I mean, whoa, go ahead.
It's simple.
That's behind. It's clearly.
Think about
Different opinion.
think about the incredible career.
For sure.
Oh, the incredible career before that Saudi Arabia match of Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, going into the retirement match against, which we didn't know at the time. We had thought maybe, but we didn't know. Going into what would be his retirement match against Undertaker. He says, if I can't beat you, I have no career. This is Shawn fucking Michaels.
Right. Wrestling,
It makes sense
from a narcissistic perspective.
It makes sense.
Shawn Michaels is even before that. We already know Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest of all time.
But
him,
and we got Jericho who calls himself
the GOAT.
the GOAT. It makes sense that from Jericho's perspective, it's like this is a brand new company. I've already talked so much shit about how they need to thank me, about how they wouldn't have these deals if it's not for me.
But see,
if I don't win.
Exactly, but see the problem with I feel like that, but that is AEW is trying to be an alternative, and you got to think about companies like WCW, Impact. When a guy comes from WWE, go to that company, and make the champion. I feel like they want to do something different. Of course, making Jericho champion, heading to the TV show. Of course, oh shit, Chris Jericho's a wrestler. Oh my god, he's a champion. I want to tune into this, but I feel like if they're trying to do something completely different on that perspective, like making Paige the champion would be the smartest thing to do.
My counter to that is that while having Paige be a champion would be, to me, it's a left field decision. To me,
but they've been building Paige though.
They've been building.
They haven't done the best job.
They've been building.
This feud alone, like
Paige
been pulling shit for the last 2 weeks.
Also, Paige wins the Battle Royal, and then who does he beat? Kip Sabian.
You know, he beat Jungle Boy, MJF, and Jimmy Havoc at Fight of Fame. And then he goes 19 minutes with Kip Sabian at Fight for the Fall.
So he goes 19 minutes with a guy that he has like 50 pounds on. It doesn't make sense.
And a guy that appears pretty much out
of nowhere. It doesn't make sense. When Cody goes, let's rephrase that. When Darby takes Cody to the limit, it makes sense.
Yeah.
When Kip Sabian and Adam Page go 19 minutes, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Especially
if they're trying to build towards him facing Jericho. At the double up, we knew headed to All Out what your match was. Jericho and Hangman.
So I gotta go with Jericho. I gotta take Jericho.
I mean, as I'm saying, from a business perspective, Jericho is the perfect answer. Oh shit, we know who Chris Jericho is. He's heading to TNT. They're going live. Oh shit, I want to check it out. Jericho the champion. What is this? But I feel like if they want to be different, Paige would be the answer. But even though it's probably gonna piss off some fans, Jericho would be the answer to go with. Man, he can drop shit. He can come into TV with the championship and lose it. So it doesn't have to be
That's WCW.
I know. I'm just saying though, like he can come into the championship and lose it, but
So me myself, I'm gonna split the votes, and I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho, and he's gonna finally earn his thank you that he's been asking AEW for.
For months.
Let's hear from the spotlight in the Tru Heels. Real quick, I'm going to say Steve Salvage, he had a couple of things to say. Yeah. He said Arn Anderson comes out with Cody, then Arn turns on Cody at the end due to the Tully-Arn relationship, which makes a lot of sense. Maurice, Tru Heel Maurice says the Bucks Lucha Bros feud is becoming like the Usos New Day feud. Stop it. Too much of a good thing. And it's time to put it away and Lucha Bros to end the feud for now. And then Steve Salvage also adds, Jericho should win and brings more notoriety towards AEW. People know the name of Jericho.
You picking Hangman.
No, I'm going to stick with Hangman because you're picking Hangman. And I met him. He was a cool.
Now you agreeing.
I met him. No, right.
True face. Steve Salvage.
I met Hangman, the cool ass dude in his cowboy shit over here. But if Jericho wins, I'm not mad with it because it makes sense.
And honestly, that's kind of the beautiful thing, because if Jericho wins, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
And if Adam Page wins, in a weird way,
It makes sense.
also makes sense.
Because they're trying to be different.
But and that's what's crazy, because like in a couple weeks we're gonna have a situation where if Seth Rollins wins, it makes sense. If Braun Strowman wins, it kind of doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And you have these kind of situations with WWE or with other companies that sometimes their booking doesn't always make sense, and we really got to be careful.
Now I think about it, literally the only match that I'm confused, I'm conflicted with is the main event. And that's how it should be, because it's the main event. Like, you go into the match like, oh shit, who is going to win, you know?
You shouldn't know who's going to win the main event of a big show like this.
Yeah.
You should have some confusion, and it should be kind of split among the entire fan base. So, we have finally come to the end. This is one of the longest episodes of Tru Heel Heat. We've kind of gone off the rails. We're a little bit tipsy. Jaquan, what was the final count for the number of shots you had?
Bruh. Shit.
I mean, let's say for the record,
I took a little bit of Henny left in there. I don't know how much of
that he's got Henny left in the cup, and he's got Henny left in the bottle.
Yeah, it's almost done.
But please be aware that while we are live right now, we are no longer with you in your homes around the entire country and the world. This party is going to continue.
It's a super kick party.
We're going to watch more wrestling. We're going to drink more liquor. Probably talk more shit because these are my guys.
Super heady party. It's a super heady party.
Fucking love these guys.
I want to thank both of these gentlemen. We got JJ as well as the StatKing, the returning StatKing. Hopefully that AEW makes Chicago more of a tradition. I can get StatKing more on the show. So I want to hear from you guys, your final thoughts, your final statements to our viewing audience before we wrap up Tru Heel Heat 46.
Steve.
You got anything?
You got something to say to Steve, or you got something to say to our viewing
I'm trying to
audience?
read. It's been a good night. It's been a great night. I appreciate my good brother right here, SP3, for having me on the show. Trusting me to be as drunk as I am, talking my shit about the business I love. Shout out to Nick Jackson. But it's been an honor. It's been a great. It's only been 2 days so far. It's been a great weekend so far. Hanging with these guys, talking our shit, wrestling. Tomorrow's my first AEW show, which it shouldn't have been. I should have been here 2 shows ago, but we haven't done that. I'm ready for All Out. I'm ready for an alternative to wrestling. I watch everything, so it's not really nothing for me. Can't fuck about it. We're not gonna bash on the company. So I appreciate this. The weekend's not over. It's still gonna be fun. We're probably gonna have more stuff to talk about down the line.
And who knows? We might go live for you guys on the Spotlight.
Yeah, might be fucking shot by the end of tomorrow night.
Or even Tru Heel Heat. Maybe after All Out, we might go live on a Tru Heel Heat page for you guys. StatKing, any final words to our viewing audience?
So my first time, which was also my last time on Tru Heel Heat, was about a year ago. We were here for All Out. And at the time, we kind of had no idea where this was going to go. We had no idea that Matt and Nick, Cody, Kenny, Hangman were going to really leave New Japan, leave Ring of Honor, and build this new company. And in a way, the journey that we've all been on over the past years is incredible. So my final thought is just optimism for the future of where we can go based off of where we've been. And where we've been with AEW, or just All In, not being branded by a company, has been great and solid. And where we can go is sky's the limit.
Change the world.
Change the world, as the t-shirts say. So
what's the next thing? We got All In, All Out, All Over.
Hey, no. That's
all over coming in December.
All over. That's what Vince calls it when he buys it.
All over, spider.
But the thing to remember is that we're all going to be on this journey together. We're all going to be watching the same product, whether you're watching it when it's live, the day after, whenever we're able to catch up. And the thing is that we now have a real alternative to a weekly product that we've been watching since goddamn 1993. We have a full, real alternative, and it's one of those situations where whether you like it or not, it's incumbent upon you to support it. Because when you support AEW, even if you really don't intend to, you are supporting WWE. Because you're putting the impetus on WWE to be better. Sure. In order to compete. So tomorrow is going to be an amazing show. These guys have yet to disappoint. And I'm looking forward to it. I know everybody here is looking forward to it. I know everybody in Chicago who's going to be there is looking forward to it. And I hope you all are able to watch tomorrow as they go all out. They go all out in order to bring to you a weekly show, a weekly alternative to what we think or know of is the wrestling normalcy.
We are on the precipice of a wrestling revolution because Wednesday nights will never be the same again come even September 18th. Because
at least not for a while.
Yeah, NXT coming to USA, then October 2nd, AEW on TNT. There's going to be so much wrestling for us to consume. You got New Japan Pro Wrestling, which has been on the rise and putting out great shows in 2019. Mm-hmm. Ring of Honor is somewhere in the mix.
It's not fully in the sunken place, but it's close.
Impact Wrestling, MLW. This is like the most wrestling you can ever consume. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Tru Heel Heat. All of you guys that stayed along since the beginning when we started about 2.5 hours ago. This is one of the longest episodes of Tru Heel Heat because we had so much to talk about with the 3 big shows. So whether you're going to enjoy... whether you're going to enjoy New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest at 12 p.m. tomorrow or NXT UK Takeover at 2 p.m. tomorrow from Cardiff, or the AEW All Out show coming up in the evening. You guys have a jam-packed day of professional wrestling, so I need you guys to go out and watch one of those shows. Support the thing we love. Speaking of support, I want you guys to support my other podcast, which is Toxic Talk. Toxic Talk, you can listen to us on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can watch us on YouTube, and we're going to be talking about pegging and getting hit on by gay men. StatKing's going to walk on by for a little bit. It's all good. 4 Quarters Podcast is my new basketball podcast that is about to start in quite a bit of time. Yes, we're going to be talking about basketball. We're going to be talking about the upcoming NBA season. Shouts out to Chris Gutierrez. Shouts out to Dre Robinson, as well as Matthew Miller. Those are my co-hosts on the 4 Quarters Podcast. And SP3's G1 Climax 29 Top 10 matches is coming up. I've been promising you this for a couple of Tru Heel Heats now. We're going to talk about that tournament. Facebook, you can follow the Tru Heels group page. You can follow Tru Heel Heat. Like I said, we just hit over 4,000 likes on the Tru Heel Heat page. The Pro Wrestling Spotlight. We want to thank JJL and everyone from the Pro Wrestling Spotlight who's been supporting us. We want to shouts out to my boy Jonathan Escudero and the Dirt Sheet Radio podcast that just started. Battle Club Pro, one of the premier promotions here in New York City. Anything you can do on September 28th. Follow us on the Twitter machine, Tru Heel Heat. Follow me on Instagram, TruHeel_SB3. Where can they find you on Instagram?
Instagram, Hacksaw_JAY_Duggan. Hacksaw J Duggan, switch up to Jim Duggan. Facebook, my name, Jaquan James, sound like Twitter if you want to, much on Twitter. JStyles92. Like
he's everywhere. He's everywhere on social media.
Everywhere.
YouTube, Tru Heel Heat, just over 270 subscribers. So we are trying to hit that apex of 300 subscribers before the end of the year. Slow and steady wins the race. So we expect 30 more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Marathon, not a sprint.
If you're watching us on a Facebook Live, become a YouTube subscriber. There's so much for you to consume. The G1 Climax Countdown video. We got a couple of interviews coming up at Battle Club Pro, so check us out. Toxic Talk, like I said before, is on YouTube. Jimmy Macaram. I do reviews and reactions to all your great shows, including Power Season 6. Power Season 6, Episode 1. I'm going to have a video up on the Jimmy Macaram YouTube channel where I'm laughing at the fact that a certain character just passed away. I won't go into spoilers. iTunes, Tru Heel Heat and Toxic Talk is out on iTunes. So,
it's a big rich town.
for the StatKing, for Mrs. StatKing that you saw passing by just shortly ago, for Weed Guy JJ, I am the Tru Heel Phenom SP3 for Tru Heel Heat 46, live from Chicago. Whether you're watching Royal Quest, whether you're watching UK Takeover Cardiff, or AEW All Out, I need you all to enjoy your Saturday full of professional wrestling. So until Tru Heel Heat 47, for everyone, we are signing off. Until next time.
I'm not even high.